Let's see what we have here, folks. Welcome to Chaotic Streaming. I'm the DM, Starwind, and I'll be taking Dancing Lights on an adventure currently in Citadel Kingdom. We have Leo, the half-orc paladin of Illumina.
Hey guys.
We have Borden, the dwarven life domain cleric of Kazia.
Hello.
We have Zareth, the half-elf rogue assassin.
Evening, guys.
Apollo, the half-elf lore bard.
Hey guys.
And Oscar, the half-elf draconic sorcerer. I was kind of hoping he would magically pop in and say, hey, but he is currently running late from what I understand, so we'll just go ahead and get right into the intro here. So last we left off, Apollo and Borden managed to wade through the snowy region, and by late nightfall they found their friend Oscar sitting behind a tree, just sitting there, reading a book. Nothing too fancy, attempting to ritual cast a tiny hut. Safe within his hut as they approached, they quickly caught up on a situation that Oscar was being chased for using magic. Meanwhile, Zareth, Lindsay, Leo, and the fox were out looking for said members. With a bit of luck, and it bouncing a light back and forth from the hut, the group manages to merge back into full dancing lights. The group then makes this their camp, as Tiny Hut was readjusted for the others. The next day, one day later, let's see. The next day came, and Borden, Apollo, and Leo all decided to go back into town, stock up on supplies. After the run in the general store and visiting the bakery, they all managed to meet back outside of town, trek about 3 miles north or so to find a cave on a map that they bought in their supplies. The party is greeted by a small pack of dire wolves, but they were quickly dispatched as they took up residence in the cave currently occupied on one side by a giant brown bear. Flexing his new abilities, Apollo attempts to use a few new spells to clear the bear from the caverns. A few slurping noises and bad hentai on Beast episode later, they manage to clear the threat, ? The group then has a bit of downtime as they wait for the caravan that was heading north. With the caravan on the road and them approaching, Frederick recognizes the group and informs him that the offer still stands. There they met Azalea, who was accompanied by a man and a young child, and inside they had a canvas carriage wagon where trade goods were kind of lined on and leaving the empty part of the circle of space there surrounding the outside edges. At the intersection there was like 3 young teenagers that sat quietly, 1 boy, 2 girls, and each having a bit of magical aura to them. Oscar was asked to ride with the kids till they got further away from Heritage, and the rest of the group gathered up inside a traveling carriage following behind. And now we rejoin Dancing Light as they are heading for the Apra mountain range to get to Miscus and try to get home. So, does that cover about everything, Dancing Lights?
Yep.
I think it does.
Alright.
You missed the part though where Apollo immediately went up into some kind of magical room after the tentacle chisels.
Well, I didn't want to go into too much detail. I did mention the tentacles and beast on tentacle action. Figured that was more important than a rope leading up to a hoe. But you can watch the archives for that episode. So Dancing Lights, since Oscar is technically in the carriage with the kids, this leaves you guys traveling in the back with the other members of the trade caravan that was talking to you that night. You recognize a few of the members. One's driving. There's a couple more that are inside who were in that conversation with you that you were having with Frederick. Frederick, however, he is leading the caravan in the the first carriage that was going up the road. You guys are currently seated however you like in this wide traveling carriage. The bench is kind of wide and kind of loops around a little bit to make room against the wall, so if somebody wanted to sit directly by the window and look out, they could, leaving just enough space for somebody to get in and out from one of the doors that are on the side. The carriages start shoving off, and now you are pretty much in this carriage together if you want to have a conversation as you make your way towards the Apra mountain range. Yeah, and
I take out my book on were creatures and I start reading that.
Alright, so you pull out the book of were creatures, getting a little bit more insight on these possible enemies that you might fight. What else does anybody else in this carriage want to do?
Leo is staring out the window, trying to figure out where we are in relation to where he grew up.
Would you say your original birthplace was more of a northeast or northwest of Citadel? Or would it be further south? There were southeast or southwest?
Northwest.
More northwest. So Miscus would probably be familiar. You haven't really been across since we've already had this roll. Let me see here. Apra Mountain Range, you haven't really bothered going through that, so Heritage was kind of new to you, but as, well, you really don't recognize anything at this point. You just know that the Apra Mountain Range on the other side, so hopefully whenever you get over this big old ordeal going through the mountains, you'll be able to figure out what you need to do. But, anything else?
How long do we know the trip is probably gonna take for us?
They never really gave you a time, but guesstimating from the map that I believe Gordon has, I think you can guess that with the way the carriage is rolling, not taking in how much trouble you're going to have going over the rough terrain, going up the mountain, but you think maybe 2 to 3 days could probably get you to the other side and mostly to Miscus by then. So there are going to be camping checks somewhere in between, so. But for the first hour of travel, you guys are all just kind of situated here. Zareth is reading his book, and Leo's staring out the window. What is Apollo doing?
Paulo wants to try his new flute out. Silver flute.
Do we have the stats on that still?
Yeah, I have it in my tools category.
Alright, are you just using it for performance or what?
Yeah, just straight performance.
Alright, so yeah, you
now
pull
I
out-
have it as like a tool. Let me see how that
I
works.
think it gives you +5 to your. Alright, did you
Yeah,
already
I'm
figure
also
that?
proficient.
Alright,
so.
cool. It's a nice +11 on it. So you're playing this flute. Trillos work out really fine. The keys press up and down real quick. You can triple it, quadruple it, quarter note, half note. It plays just great. The music coming out of there just kind of lightening the mood for the most part.
Leo will start dinging his cowbell.
Ding, ding. That's not a bad
Hey.
cowbell. You gotta keep in rhythm for the most part. You kind of mess it up every now and then, but for the most part, you pretty much got that on note.
Damn, I was hoping to get like a natural 1 or something.
Yeah, well, can't lose them all the time.
Damn, I was hoping to get like a natural 1 or something.
You know,
Yeah,
Emberg,
well,
I should say that you
lose them all
shouldn't
the
be participating in this raffle, but if you want to, go right ahead. I allow my players to go ahead and join the raffle as well. I apologize. Go right ahead. So,
Well-
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Seeing as we've got some time here in these carriages, I'm gonna go ahead and do something here. Leo, what's with the change of mind, change of mood, change of action?
What do you mean?
Back before we saw that lich, you were charging through doors and tearing shit down, and then in the city, you did nothing. You've done a complete 180, and something's up here.
In the dungeon, I'd never been there before, and I didn't like it in there. It felt weird and unnatural. Just wanted to get out of there. In the city, I had been there several times over the past day, Already seen the sights and just letted you guys see the sights as well.
And the trek to the cave where you're quiet.
I've been thinking a lot about stuff. Specifically that dark-robed figure. Denio, I believe his name was. There's something about him. I don't know.
Besides the red glowing eyes?
And the shadowy steed. And that sword he had.
Hey, we found him in a temple of the god of darkness. Of course there's like dark stuff everywhere.
Seems odd to me that a dark, shadowy figure would pick sides with the light. And
Well, if I've learned one thing, is that there cannot be darkness without light, or the other way around.
True.
So true.
And I had talked to Illumina after Denio had left us. She mentioned something about his father. I don't know who that is. But it was odd. Illumina's never unsure of herself, but she mentioned that, and then shut up.
He misspoke? She let something slip?
Yes.
Then I
That's-
suggest you do the same.
You suggest I let something slip?
No, I suggest you let the whole problem slip. If your deity doesn't want you to know, then at least have the courtesy to let it slide.
Do you really think the gods would err so? Let something slip? Or maybe a subtle hint?
That's what I've been trying to figure out. That's why I'm quiet.
Then
Plus
what
this-
did she
this-
say?
She just mentioned something about his father. But just his father, not his mother. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Then maybe she knows. She doesn't know his mother.
The carriage still trampling wrong. It just kind of hit a bad bump all of a sudden. Everybody kind of gets jostled for a minute. But the carriage keeps rolling on. You can hear the driver going, "Yeah, yeah." As that little incident just kind of interrupts the conversation for a moment.
In this continent, Citadel, I grew up north of here. Not a very nice place. That's why I tried to show some urgency back there in Heritage. We gotta get out of there. Get out of here. It's not safe.
Not safe as for magic users or for strangers in general.
Magic user specifically, especially if you're a strange magic user.
Probably necromancers.
Oh, yeah, you'd go straight to the stake for that.
Yeah, that would happen. There's, like I said, there was a couple guys who were from the inn who were kind of sitting on the other side listening to you guys.
I'm sure they wouldn't like the slurping noises of whatever I tried back at that cave.
Is your magic arcane?
Through my flute playing. It's sort of like a point to where I cast my my bardic magic, but nothing like a sorcerer where they it's just imbued in them.
I don't know if that'll trigger their Ironforge minions, but I want to keep that under wraps until we get off the continent.
Well, it triggered on Lindsley's violin in the inn.
Was
Yeah.
it Lindsay? I thought the old crone had done something.
One of the guys over there on the other side of you is like, yeah, even Bard to kind of like take spells from, different, different studies. You might trigger that alarm of whatever happens in town to come. He's just seeming really nervous talking about it as well as you're kind of talking to him. But just gotta be careful. If they look for that magic, and it could just take your whole world away. As he kind of stutters through all that. Yeah, magic. Another guy just kind of spits towards the floor in a way. But other than that, these two are just kind of letting you guys have your conversation. They'll kind of stay out of it if you need to.
Oh, hello.
Did we get an Oscar back?
Yes, we
We
did.
have a mute Oscar.
Oh, Oscar, are you here? As I look up the children's names that I completely forgot last week. Oscar, you muted it. Let me know when you get here. Alright, so continuing on with the conversation in the wagon, do you guys want to further any other conversation before we kind of move to a breaking area where you guys can break out and have like a lunch break outside? Actually, I need Oscar to come back before that happens, but if there's anything else you guys want to talk about while you're in the carriage.
Alright, so about the place we're going to, what exactly like is this place about? Is it sort of like a more secretive area? I'm not exactly sure what we've gotten into, but if I could be enlightened on it, I'd be appreciative.
You guys,
Miscus is a port city. I don't know where we're going with this group, but it's a port city. There's boats that head across the ocean. It's a way to get off this continent.
alright.
It's probably some kind of thief guild that runs the entire operation.
Yeah, if you want to ask more, you can also ask the guys who are kind of across from you. Are you doing that as well?
Do you guys know anything about it? Because we just jumped in the middle of it yesterday afternoon, evening.
No, yeah, Miscus is just a port city that's the other side of the mountain. It's cold getting up there, guys. So if you need jackets or anything later on, oh, you got those dire pelts, so I guess you're good. But and he's just trying to offer useless information. The other guy's like, just settle down. Miscus is a port city. Your thing with thieves? No, I don't think so. But underground people who may or may not be clerics or priests or actually people you wouldn't expect working in an underground. I would say, like, who expects a clergyman to be one of the head leaders leading these people out of the kingdom, just to get their heads away from everything.
You would be surprised what you can find in such places.
Yeah, but you can look forward to a big old fish market, big old port city, definitely a lot of trade going in and out, and we are going to make sure we get our trade in and out, if you catch my drift. Oscar, are you here now?
No, he's still muted.
Got that one scene I need to set him up for. You're muted, Oscar. Hey, are you alright? You okay?
Yeah.
I can barely hear you.
How about now?
Okay, well, that's like literally on top of it. I guess you're fine now. Alright, so these guys were having a conversation. Did you want to go ahead and have a talk with the kids that you're traveling with? Oscar?
No, not really.
Very well. So, any other conversation pieces before I go ahead and move us to the first breakdown of camp?
I don't have anything.
Alright, so traveling along, you guys spend about 2 or 3 hours. The Apra mountain range is glowing, it's growing closer and closer. However, if you've been near a mountain, it could take hours to actually get up to it, driving at our speed, But you guys are making your approach. The horses need tending. The hour is getting a little late, and they're going to go ahead and set up a lunch of sorts. And so the carriages drive off to the side of the road, and then everybody's kind of let out, and even the kids are even given a break to kind of walk around. But there's definitely always an adult that's standing right next to them to kind of conceal them if needed. But Oscar, you no longer have to ride with the kids now. They say, well, we're far enough away from Heritage, so if you want to ride with the others, you be my guest. Sorry for any inconvenience.
I volunteer for first watch.
Well, it's not going to be
This is
like...
lunch.
Yeah, this is a lunch stop
Yes.
for now. You can watch if you
it
want.
would-
It's going to be like a quick hour break is what they're doing right now. So they set up a temporary camp, cook up something, and everybody's getting a lunch meal free from the caravan. At this time, you have Azalea, this other gentleman that's kind of following behind on her coattails most of the time, and this little young kid, about 9 or 10 years old. He's got black hair, dark eyes, and he's just full of energy as he runs around camp and just saying hi to everybody. Is there anything you guys want to do while you have the entire camp to talk to now?
I want to go to what was his name? Frederick.
The guy leading the caravan, sure. You find Frederick there. He's just now getting done scooping up some grub that they quickly prepared. What's on your mind there?
I was just curious of how long the journey would take.
It depends upon how bad it's stormed up there, because if there's a lot of snow, it's going to be probably a day work if we have to, stay at that for a while. But if the path isn't as bad as we're hoping, we might be able to get through, 2 or 3 days. It depends if we run into trouble along the way, you understand?
Yeah, I do.
But with this much
So,
help...
do you run those caravans more often?
Well, with the winter months coming up,
Then-
when it's in season, yeah, but winter months make it even harder for us to get over. But we're trying to do that last minute trade along with the other trade, if you catch my drift.
Stop pointing it out. People are starting to think it's obvious.
Everybody here is in on it. I don't know why you're trying to throw shade on it. It's just as long as we're not in company of an actual town or people who might be part of the guards. Now, you being foreigners, I kind of suspect you're not part of the guards, so let's hope it stays that way. About this time, Azalea kind of chases the young boy around. She kind of stops him right before he gets towards you, Leo. And the boy kind of bumps into you as you're almost knocking over whatever meal you might have in your hand, and she scoops him up and says, sorry about that, he's just got all this energy, and I kind of wish I could harness that.
Kids, that's what they do.
Indeed. Red, she says to the guy behind her, can you please take Christian? Fine. Come here, boy. And he kind of takes him out of her hand, and she kind of stares towards Oscar. Hope everything was fine back there. Hope the kids that were taken with didn't cause you any trouble. Everything okay?
Yes, everything went fine.
Very well. Did anyone else need anything?
I had a couple questions if you had a moment.
Well, I'm all ears. I'm kind of curious about you guys as well. I just didn't want to pry too much because stuff. What's on your mind?
You said you were a follower of Illumina?
It didn't start that way, but I am now, yes.
You wouldn't happen to know of a guy named Denio, would you?
Roll an insight check. You saw her eyes get large for a moment as she hears the name. Where have you heard that name? And she kind of catches that you kind of caught her in that moment, so she kind of asks you that question.
We ran into him on the road not too long ago. He was released from his temple,
Wait,
and then
no, you're joking. You're not telling me this is happening.
what is happening?
I thought he was dead. I thought he was never coming back. And she's kind of looking back and forth in one direction and then back to you. So you ran into him?
We were there when he was released from his cage. He's been in there for 10 years.
It's been that long, has it? So tell me, do you know where he is?
I know what continent he's on. Beyond that, I have no idea.
Where are you guys from anyway? And yeah, I would like to know that.
Well, I'm from Citadel here, up north.
Right, but you guys didn't come from Citadel from what I understood.
Nope, we got caught up in some magic stuff that dropped us here.
So
Tell me more about this Denio. What is he?
what is he? Yeah, that's a very good question. I agree. Definitely not something I thought I'd be talking about anytime soon. This world is full of all kinds of surprises. She's constantly looking back and forth. If you want to make another insight check, anybody who wants to, if you're listening into this conversation to kind of get an idea of who or what she's looking at.
Yeah, I would be interested.
She's
Can I see this happen?
Yeah. You guys are all sitting together unless you decided to hide somewhere. Apparently not. But the rest of you who have rolled pretty high, she keeps turning and looking towards the boy in Red's arms, and then quickly looks back to you. Looks back as if she's concerned, as a pale expression kind of comes across her face, but at the same time she keeps coming back to you guys with it. And there's like a hint of excitement, but at the same time fear in her face.
What does Christian have to do with Denio?
She's kind of quiet. She really doesn't want to answer that question. I really don't want to talk about that. Look, you want to know more about him? What do you want to know? Maybe I could tell you. I mean, there's certain things I don't feel comfortable talking about just yet, but you have information I would like to have. So if there's any information I can give for you in trade, then I guess we could kind of have this conversation. However, I don't want you to have this conversation around Red or my child. Do you understand?
Sure, I didn't realize it was such a big deal.
I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. That's why I moved here. So tell me, what do you want to know about him?
Why was he trapped in the temple?
About 10 years ago, we were on a pilgrimage for a young Lindell. He was a chaperone, per se, as he kind of guided her and took her into his care, which I thought was weird at the time, but at the same time sweet. Anyway, we traveled to Timor Kingdom, where we had plans to go to the Dark Temple and make a pilgrimage to Nefarious. However, there was an attack that happened previously, where we helped clear out some Hill of Might fighters who were trying to take charge. of the Timor Kingdom at the time, and Daniil fought demons, and for him, that's a bad situation. For it sends him into like a rage. His mind becomes not his own. He becomes berserk. He becomes lost in the chaos, if you will. And it takes time, but it fades eventually. But however, it has been known to cause a few problems, especially way back when the demon war hit in Tainak Kingdom. And she's constantly looking over her shoulder, judging the distance, making sure Red's keeping Christian busy, and it's just you guys listening to the conversation. So, we make it to the temple. We've just fought some demons, and he's still in his blood rage, but he's doing everything he can to not snap. And then as soon as we walked into the temple, chains rip from the ceiling, wrap around him, and then pull him into some kind of seal. From there, this strange woman appears out of nowhere. Nefarious even makes an appearance. I try to save Daniil. My staff breaks as soon as I try to break the chains. And now he's free, huh? Apparently,
Yeah.
according to Nefarious.
That strange woman, can you describe her?
I don't remember her face that well anymore. She didn't seem to be a threat as she was freshly released from the seal. From what Nefarious said, he will take her place so that he may break the seal at one point because she will never be able to. Something strange like that, and then she left. She left with those two strangers who were with her, who were causing problems for us along the way.
Wouldn't have been a white tiefling, would it?
I don't think she was a white tiefling, no. She had a green aura about her, though. But other than that, I think Nefarious referred to her as Kulana. Look, I'm not sure. Well, it's okay, so none of this is personal information, so I don't mind telling you the deeds on that. So Nefarious sealed him away, and I visited the temple for like a year. You know, I've been making trips within a year to see if anything changed, and then I started to lose hope. Well, I take that back. I didn't really wait a year. It's about maybe 5 months, and then I traveled to Citadel, where I kind of had to settle down. And she's looking back at Christian again. But that's about as much as I can give you on that. Is there anything else you want to know?
Do you know of Daniil's father? Who is he?
She knows, but I'm trying to think. Would she be reluctant to tell you? So I'm going to roll a d20. We'll see how reluctant she is. Alright, she's kind of freezing up as she doesn't really want to talk about it. However, I will allow you to counter her with a good persuasion. So if you got something you want to say to her to kind of talk her into it, she's like locking up on that situation right there.
Say, with me being in the conversation, grant him advantage on this check since we're both involved.
Well, I will grant you advantage if you give me a good persuasion discussion. Like, you gotta tell me what you're gonna tell her, and then I'll let you roll with advantage. So both of you participate in the conversation.
Well, see, Quilana left with two people wrapped in a green energy. We've seen Minerva with the green. I'm rattling shit off in my head right now.
Mm-hmm. Minerva.
So we know it's all attached to the uprising of the god of chaos, pretty much.
You're asking her. She'll tell you.
No, I'm asking
or-
you as the
oh,
GM.
Okay, yeah. It's definitely something to do with the chaos that's ensuing. Like, it has something to do with that god and things going up from there.
So this could not only affect Timor, but Citadel as well.
The whole world, if you really want to get technical about it. She mutters as she continuously looks over to Red and gives him a big old smile and then waves to Christian and then just kind of motions him to stay over there. But if you're trying to draw out the
I'm
answer...
gonna drop an argument, and
Alright.
she'll take it as she will,
Of course.
and this is probably gonna be a little rougher than intended. The things that work here won't just affect Timor or Tynak, they could affect you guys here in Citadel, and since Denio knows you,
Yeah.
it could literally land on your doorstep. If we can get, this information, we might find ways to, avoid extra conflict. I don't say we could rein him in, but protection of as many as possible would be the goal there. Your child.
Yes.
I hate using kids as hostages like that. I really do.
Wait, what? You're using her kid as a hostage? What?
No,
Okay, you're
like,
trying. You're trying to give her the mental image that your child's going to be in trouble if you don't do something, right? Is that what you're
Like
trying
she's
to hint
already
at?
attached to this whole situation, so yeah, no,
Mhm.
she's front row seats for bullshit that could spill over.
Right. So yeah, she's just like, yeah, things could get serious, and it definitely might lead back to me and everything I have going on here. This might be the last caravan I actually drive with then. But at the same time, So here's the thing, we're dancing around the original question, so I can't allow a roll. Leo, if you want to try to pry more information with a persuasive argument with Borden trying to offer some words to kind of loosen her lips, by all means, go ahead and make the conversation, and then we can make the roll.
Illumina sent me out east to find out why her vision was being blocked. She had a feeling it might have been because of a tedious relationship between Nefarious and Quilana. I found a white tiefling and some of her friends were causing quite a bit of chaos out there. After we met Denio, I told Illumina about it. She seemed happy or perplexed about it and mentioned something about his father. And then that was the conversation with that. And it's been bothering me ever since.
Alright, go ahead and roll persuasion with advantage. We'll see how well this goes. With a 17, you managed to kind of get to her as you're talking about the goddess, who she also worships. Illumina does have concerns like that, and that's kind of why I kind of got flip-flopped in my original priesthood. By the way, she kind of turns to Borden. I used to be a cleric of Kazia, and then I had to turn to Illumina. Funny story that, but at any rate, so you want to know who the mother and father is, right?
Yes, it's been bothering me for a while.
Well, the father is Nefarious, and we serve his mother.
So he's like a
He's
god?
He's a demigod. I mean, when gods get planted to the earth, they take a demi form, so they're still mortal to an extent, but yeah, definitely have unique abilities to keep them living longer than the average human being. He's not the only demigod that we know of either. But
Who else?
there was twins. Daniel was the dark, and Sparrow was the light. And they were sent down to bring balance or something to that effect, but I don't know. Daniel's been kind of the bad boy. And you kind of see her kind of reminiscing as if she's bringing up an old memory and just kind of playing it back in her head, like, oh, the good old days. But she, she's like, yeah, he's got this bad streak to him and everything, but when it came to protecting people who he declared his charge, he was immaculable. He was on top of the game. He quickly dispatched anybody who caused any problems, but at the same time, that caused problems too. I do
Well,
wonder.
that's interesting.
I do wonder if we're ever going to have a conversation. And she kind of gives a grimace and then constantly looks back to Christian and Red. And then back to you guys. So, now that I've answered your questions, I have some of my own. You said he was free. How did he look when he became free?
I mean, he
His
was,
eyes glowed red.
yeah, he had a fancy steed he could summon. Otherwise, he didn't look too beat up. He went hand to hand with a really powerful shadow monk.
Still chasing down that demon, is he? She's kind of dazed and looking off far away. You could definitely see there's some kind of affectional feeling towards him as she's kind of making faces, listening to your story. So, from there, you say he's in what location? Did you say you knew where he was?
And we parted ways at Timor City, and he mentioned that he was going to the Celestial Realm to find allies to do something.
That sounds like he's going to war with Nefarious then. Well, she has a big bag of mixed emotions right now on her face, and she really doesn't know how to express herself any further. So unless there's anything else you want to ask her, she might just try to take her leave for now and kind of hide away to her thoughts. If only there was a way I could talk to him.
You could come with us. You might be able to run into him.
No. If he's on the run, he's not going to stay, if he's out and about, he won't stay in the same place twice. He'll definitely keep moving around until he finds what he's looking for. So if he's going to be looking for me, he'll find me in his own time.
If we run into him, should we send him your way?
I'm not even sure that's a good idea. I'm not sure I'm ready to see him ever again. I mean, I thought he was dead. I thought he wasn't coming back. I thought they took him away from me. And she kind of closes her mouth a bit and kind of like, oops. Look, I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys to
So
this.
Christian is his kid then.
She really freezes up as you say that. And she does not want to answer it. Now you're free to make your assumptions though. As she says, look, we're fixing to get things going again. So if you guys had your meal, if you're all ready, we'll go ahead and get everybody set up. You sir, and she turns back to Oscar. Go ahead and sit with your friends if you want now. Apologize for the inconvenience. Daniel's back, and she kind of walks away and heads back to Red and Christian. And then just by looking, you could see this. It seems to be like a fake smile as she picks up Christian and looks at Red and it's like, ha! And they all start to head back to the carriage. The three kids who were kind of looming around with the other adults who were kind of supervising everything, they start to head back to the original wagon, and Alexander kind of waves towards Oscar and says, alright man, see you later. And he walks back in the carriage with Rachel and Tiffany, I think her name was. I might have to look up because I lost my note on that page because the computer decided to crash before I could save it. But I'll look that up in the previous guide if that comes up, or the previous show. But yeah, you guys are free to gather your things, get back in the carriage, and continue trekking on. So back in the carriage. Is there anything you guys want to talk about as you continue your approach to the Apra mountain range, now that you had new information gathered?
I knew something was up with that.
But Archie throws over the mention of Christian being Dineo's kid.
I feel like that's a safe assumption. I don't know if Danilo will be after the kid, which we might need to take into
Thinks after the
consideration.
Neo might.
Even if Danilo doesn't, if anyone else finds out about that particular tie, they could go after him. It is the child, presumably of a demigod and a human.
I'm assuming you're all trying to be more hush hush. Only one of the other guys are in the carriage, which is the one with the who keeps umming and the stutterer. As the other guy kind of joined the other one on the bench as they keep lookout for any threats.
If Danilo's going to take on his father, I don't know what side we would be on. I personally stand with Illumina, so whatever she guides me, I will take. I don't know about the rest of you.
I would probably sidestep the problem, let the gods sort themselves out.
Anybody want to ask Oscar how his trip was?
So, Oscar, how was it with the kids?
It was fine. I assume it was just like yours.
What was that last part that sounded really slurred and quietly?
I said it was fine. I assumed it was just like yours. It was quiet.
Very quiet. Anyway, so if there's nothing further to discuss, go ahead and make a round of perception. As you're kind of having these light conversations, you're kind of looking out the window, looking for anything that might be approaching up against the carriage. Along the road, coming down from the other angle, there's looks like a frozen over carriage with the canvas and heading south towards Heritage. It has one driver, and most of the, from what you could tell just by looking at it, it has like some minor cargo sorts, but it continues south. But further north, you guys continue on. No threats besides like the occasional direwolf who kind of tracks up against the horses, but the managing speed of the carriages manages to kind of outrun them, kind of get away from them as they continue on. Getting scared away from occasional arrows that get shot out. Other than the direwolves, you get pretty close to the Apra mountain range as you kind of make like a base camp at the bottom of this mountain pass that's about to go up. It gets to about 6 or 7 at night. Time's a little phasey since the sun's kind of clouded and the mountains are kind of in the way. But yeah, you make to the base of the mountain, and they are now setting up a night camp. And as you guys kind of get out the carriage, stretch your legs, look around, they kind of tell you, alright, so we're going to camp here for the night. That way the horses are fresh to get us up the mountain as best they can, and then once we reach the peak of where this road leads, that's when the real fun begins, and we deal with the road itself and make sure these carriages can make it through. So, you know, get you as much rest as you can, be ready for tomorrow. Probably won't be till like mid-afternoon, or depending upon how early we leave in the morning. But yeah, if you guys want to split watch with us, that'd be great. Be a little bit of a way of pitching in, you know.
Sure, I'll take second.
I'll take first.
We'll
I'll
take
take the last one.
Alright, you guys take last. So first watch, Leo. Let's see here. The dark-haired girl named Rachel. She's kind of wrestling in her sleeping bag as everybody kind of pops a sleeping bag close towards the fire that you guys created. There's a couple
So
of the.
you got those tents as well. We need
Oh,
extra
yeah,
shelter.
Yeah, you guys can pop them up if you want. There's probably a couple people who are sleeping in the canvas carriage. Probably a couple people sleeping in the actual traveling carriages. And then you guys can pop a tent for extra comfort next to the fire. Within reason. So make a... See, Leo's on first watch. Anybody else with Leo?
I thought we were splitting watches with some of the caravan workers.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure, like, if there was anything certain people wanted to have a conversation with any of the other NPCs or whatnot during their watch, I just kind of want to get that information. Did you want a NPC to talk to on your watch?
No, but I'll keep an eye on Azalea and Christian.
All right. Well, they kind of make camp inside that. Hold on, I guess they would have a tent of their own as well. So, yeah, they got their bedrolls wrapped up inside this tent. They're trying to keep warm. Her, Red, and the kid in between them as they all start to drift off to sleep. One of the guy who stutters a lot, he's kind of keeping watch with these. So go ahead and make it with advantage since he's kind of helping. Perception there. Alright. The watch goes without much incident. Only thing that really catches your eye is the occasional stirring from one of the tents as there's like kicking, screaming a little bit sometimes, but it dies down. Somebody's having like a bad nightmare or something. It's either Lindsay or maybe somebody else. Got the thing that she has this nightmare too. Your fox is staying out there with you as you continue to have this watch. You hear distant howls, but it must have been those dire wolves you guys passed a long time ago, and they're trying to catch up, I guess, but you don't hear them anywhere within the vicinity. So your watch ends without much incident. So who's on second?
I was.
And is there any NPCs you would like available to talk to on your watch?
I guess there won't be many people up during the second watch.
Well, somebody's got to wake
Or
another
is it
person
not?
up. I'm kind of opening the opportunity. Like, if there's somebody you're interested in talking to, they could probably be Frederick.
I would like to speak to Frederick.
So the guy who is stuttering, he goes, gets Frederick, and Frederick's up, and he's like, huh, keep him watch with us too, are you?
Yes, never hurts for an extra set of eyes out.
Alright, well, with that, as you're making your conversation with him, let's go ahead and get perception out of the way.
Performance, charisma. Oh man, I can't find it. There we go. A double 9 again.
Wow. Well, interesting enough. You don't happen to have one of them GM inspirations you could spin, huh?
Oh yes, I do. Let's use that.
You want to? Go ahead. I mean, I'm just trying to burn your resources. Much better, much better. Alright, so Frederick's like, so, anything on your mind? As you guys are keeping an eye out.
How often do you transport kids to Miscus?
Well, these are like the young arcane users, you know, and they can't fend for themselves like a grown-ass adult. I mean, if you want to stay here as a wizard at that age, I mean, by all means, you're signing your own death warrant. But these kids, they're innocent, so helping them out's like a priority, you know? I've been doing this for maybe a couple years. Zelia, she kind of runs down and tries to find kids in orphanages who have shown like arcane powers, and kind of helps remove them from that situation so they don't get caught. But yeah, we've been it's not like an every month thing, but it was definitely time since she found these three. And with it being close to winter, we figured it'd be better to get them out now before anything else. But if you're asking me how many runs I do per year, maybe 4 or 5. So, yeah. Just kind of depends.
Do you have a lot of support from the local people?
Well, those who had family who aren't mages, yeah. Like, you know, there's still some mages that don't cast as long as they can, you know, and they try to avoid it in towns, or they're more aware, or they're just that sneaky to cast these spells without getting caught. But Is there a lot of support? Anybody who had a son or daughter who showed arcane power and was forced to, let their child go so that they can have a better life instead of burning at the stake, those are the people who support us. Those who have been through it once already, and they just don't want to see it happen to anybody else.
That is understandable.
Yeah, it's been going on for quite some time, and I just don't know why.
Yeah, and in town, not a lot of people were happy with the clergy.
No, as you can tell, like, half of these people, at one point in their life, or any time in their family, there had to have been some kind of history of an arcane user popping up, and then they had to say goodbye to that person sometime in that century, or whatever it is, there might be old folks there who had to give up their grandchild, or grandson, or daughter, or son, when they were younger, and that memory just lives on, they want to see their kids, but in order for them to live, they have to be away. Can't risk them dying, Now, if you want to make an insight check on him, I can kind of give you some details about his posture and stuff.
Oh, yes, insight.
And these are definitely things you guys should ask whenever you feel like the characters might be making motion and you want to pay attention to that, so be sure to ask. Like, can I insight that? And I'll definitely tell you, yeah, go ahead. And with that, you kind of tell that he may be telling you this story in such a way that he knows from experience. At the same time, it's like, he's probably had to deal with this situation on a personal level, and he's kind of dedicated himself to the cause just because he doesn't want it to happen to anybody else. So you could definitely see he's preaching what he teaches or does. But that's about the gist of it,
So, who was it that you sent away? A friend?
He
Brother,
sighs
sister?
deeply. Well, yeah, my brother Johnny. He showed off some spells. At first I thought he was like being like a magician, like he read a actual book of magician spells and was making cards disappear or making a dove appear or something simple like that, but then he started to cast like a fire, and then he like set a bush on fire on accident. Oh, we got in so much trouble that day, but after that day it was like that was the last time I got to see him. Mom said you gotta go, and I never seen her so torn up about that. But kind of chokes up a little. It's just the stuff we deal with here in Citadel. I mean, other than it being a beautiful place and all, but living with this, it's hard when somebody close to you winds up being something more, and then you're spending every moment hoping they're not. But anyway, let's have a look around. The howling's gotten louder, by the way, and on top of that you can hear screaming of a young girl as the shadow figure from the fire inside one of the tents kind of pops up, showing long hair, as this girl kind of looks around questioningly, and just kind of she pulls herself outside the tent, and then she kind of looks around, and this is the black haired girl named Rachel, who is
I wave at her.
she kind of waves back for a moment and then just kind of blinks several times, staring at the fire for a moment. Oh man, that girl must have had a bad dream. She's been kind of loud here.
You know what her powers are?
Not exactly. I mean, I've never really questioned them, because the more I know, the more that somebody else could find out, and I'd rather keep that on the low key. But someone like Azalea and her lot knowing is enough. I don't need to know too much about these kids. I just want to know that I'm doing the right thing for them. But yeah, And then, like I said, there's that occasional howling of wolves. Sounds like those dire wolves are starting to come closer.
Yes, might be a good idea to have an extra person stand watch after this one, just as a precaution.
Yeah, well, I think I'll be passing it on to Azalea, so... Or one of them guys are definitely going to pick up the watch. Your watch does come to an end. The howling is seeming closer. Rachel goes back to her tent and she tries to go back to bed.
Apollo was next, right?
Correct.
Alright.
Okay, then I wake up Apollo.
Was anybody else with Apollo?
I think Borden was, but he's muted right now.
Borden, are you muted?
I was keeping myself from interjecting in the conversation.
Oh, by all means. But, did you want to wake up as well with Apollo?
Yeah, I signed up to do that.
Alright, so with the alert going on about the direwolves getting closer to the camp, Azalea's woken up to stand in for Frederick, and then seeing you two, they kind of like, alright, we'll leave it at that. That should do for now. If anything happens, just let somebody know. So Azalea joins the two of you. Well, here we go. So, man, she just goes on looking around, making sure nothing approaches. However, the howling of the dire wolves is getting much, much closer. Let's get a perception check with advantage. Who wants to make the check?
I'm pretty good at those.
Go ahead.
Gotta find that little word in between everything else. With an 18. So...
No, I almost clicked persuasion at first. I was like, that's the wrong one.
Yeah, that is. So as you guys are like in this camp trying to set up... You know what? I think I have a camping tile. Let me see what we got here. This might not
Trying to persuade the DM of your snipe roll.
It may not be the best, but this will do. Trying to get us a little bit more of a map. Alright, so everybody, I know there's not this many tents. We'll just say the big tents that are triangle are definitely the tents that are up, but all the little ones that are circle are not part of the caravan, alright? So grab a token and then kind of put where you're resting if you're sleeping, and then where you're standing if you're keeping watch.
So, big fire.
Yep, should be able to drag your token over. And then I will grab... Let's see here, whose token did I need? Alright, so she is... She's in her own tent. For the sake of Azalea, we're going to use... No, let's use a different token. I'm sure she won't mind. Alright, so yeah, you continue having to watch. You hear the wolves getting closer and closer. And then before long, in the shadows of the outcropping, you can definitely hear their growling as it becomes more verbal that they're right there on top of you guys now. And I'm growing quiet because I'm trying to figure out where the dire wolf actually went on this. Alright, there he is. Throw one there. Oops. This pack is a little bit bigger since there's more of you. Throw one down here. And we'll throw one more over in this direction there. So they're definitely creeping closer to the fire, and you do notice them, so this won't be a surprise round for anybody. We'll just go ahead and have everybody start rolling initiative as we go into a quick battle, perhaps? So let's roll that beautiful bean footage and go into battle music. As everybody kind of...
Roll slow.
Yeah, it'll be alright.
I want to hear it. I'm still on 2.
Alright, so... One thing I am going to do, folks, is we're going to adjust a couple of numbers on these direwolves since they live out in the higher end of the wilderness. Alright, so everybody roll initiative. I need to roll for Lindsay, don't I? Let me get her on there. Go ahead and pop that out. Alright, just about done making adjustments. A little slow here. Sorry about that, guys. These wolves be hardy, folks. Alright, so with that, everybody's got their roll in. Let's see who's first. Lindsay gets to start it, but she is asleep, so I'll have her roll perception. See if she is aware of any noises getting closer to the camp. She is sound asleep. Dire wolves are going to start closing in. Alright, that he's in a tent, so we're gonna kinda... Alright, these guys on the edge here are probably sniffing around for anybody in the tent. However, they're not gonna be able to attack you right away. We will be making attacks on Acelia for 1, 2 on Borden, 2 on Apollo as they kind of close in on you guys. Let me get on their character sheet here and let me get in that mood to kill you guys. I mean, attack you guys. Apollo. 6 misses.
Second one hits.
But the second one does, and I need a DC strength save, please.
6 is the crit fail for him.
Well, one of his teeth fell out. You are knocked prone. Well, that one there probably, yeah, he kind of bit his tooth. But then the other one jumped you, grabbed your arm, pulled you down. You feel the claws burning as they kind of bite into your forearm. And you get dragged to the ground, so you're currently prone. And you take 10 points of piercing damage as you get pulled down. Let's see here. Why are your hit points not showing? HP, AC. There. Save change. There we go. Now I can see. Is that right for Apollo?
Mm-hmm.
You rolled low on your HP, huh?
Averages.
Oh. Alright. 2 on Borden. 18 and a 6. Once again, another one loses another tooth biting into your chainmail, I think. What are you wearing? But your AC is 18, so that 18 does hit. So go ahead and roll a DC strength save. You make the save, so you take 10 piercing damage, but you manage to stay on your feet as another chomping jaws kind of grip on your shield arm before you can kind of pull it out all the way. And he's trying to drag you down, but you're like snapping your arm back. So you took the damage, but you managed to stay up there and stay alive on this. Alright, so let's see. I need to roll against Acelia now. We're just going to accumulate damage on her till we're sure she might hit a threshold. Oscarin, perception check. You can use half your movement to wake up and join the fight. As you can hear Apollo getting dragged to the ground and him probably screaming out, "Oh, getting tussled to the ground." So you can emerge from the tent using half your movement to stand up. And what would you like to do?
Seeing that he's being dragged to the ground, I'm going to try to get them off of him. I'm going to cast Scorching Ray.
Alright. Go ahead and roll me some attack rolls. Also going to adjust this as well, folks. We're going to put them at this amount. Alright, so hit. And you're focusing 1, right?
The one that took him down, yeah.
Alright, go ahead and roll your damage on that. So 10, 11, and 12. Wow, that's a straight. So 33 points of damage.
Yeah.
So you come spiraling out the tent, stand up, and you start casting Scorching Ray, and 3 fireballs pelts into the air and just pow, 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 pelts into this direwolf, and it just kind of makes him bark at you and whimper, ay, 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 ay. And then he kind of lets go of Apollo, but he's still on the ground. Anything else for your turn?
No.
Alright, you managed to burn them up pretty good, but these dire wolves seem to be a little bit hardy. Sarah, it is now your turn. What would you like to do? Make a perception.
I'm sleeping.
Make a perception check first, and I will see if you can do anything. You can use half your movement to get up and join the fight. As you can hear one wolf in particular snarling next to your tent.
I get up, I disengage,
Alright.
move to Lindsley, and wake her up.
Alright. So you go over there and spend, I will say, well, you burn your bonus action to disengage, so you can use your, I don't know, you can wake her up. Did you want to do anything else on your turn?
Yeah, I'm gonna move closer to the fire, to the rest of the group.
Alright, just keep in mind you only have half movement. So 5,
Yes,
10...
15.
Okay,
Because it was 5 from my 10 to Lindsley.
Yeah, you were right here. So 5, 10, and then you woke Lindsay up, so yeah, that's 15. Alright, so, alright. With that, it is now Apollo's turn. What would you like to do, sir, since you're already up on this march and kind of on your back?
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna cast invisibility on myself.
Alright, you cast invisibility, and now what do you want to do?
Now, half movement to get up, and I want to move away from these wolves.
As you move away, they still get to strike at you with disadvantage. Pack tactics makes it a straight roll. You know what? I thought
Go ahead and roll damage.
you don't get away far, my friend. And guess what? You need to roll 2 strength checks to see if they don't pull you down again. So 21 points of piercing damage. You managed to pull away from the first one, and then the second one kind of grabs you and pulls you back to the ground again once more.
Yay.
Yeah, this is a up and down battle. It's starting to look like. What do you want to do? I mean, you still have an action.
No, the invisibility was an action, so.
And they found you in your invisibility, and they managed to strike out at you, so you are visible now. Alright, yeah, that was your action, so no bonus action from you then?
Yep, I guess that's it.
No healing word or anything? Leo, I need you to make a perception check to see if you could join the fray. That's an iffy number, you know what I mean? Let me just do a quick roll here. And it's very iffy. You know what? That works. Alright, so, yep, you can use half your movement and you can join the fight as you hear Apollo hit the ground again, as he tried to move away from these two dire wolves who are pack tacticking off of him.
Alright,
I'm
I'll
not sure his invisibility ended right away unless he failed concentration.
Oh, he lost it because he got bit on the way out, because they still get attack of opportunity even though he moved away invisible.
See, but he didn't make an attack to end it.
Let me see if I still have it up, though. Yeah, I have it up.
One more.
Yeah, I have it up.
How's that rolling 22 twice?
It's loaded.
That's what it's looking like. Let's see what you got here for your... I guess not. Roll it one more time just so I can see it roll something different. Alright, thank you. So, alright, you managed to keep it. And then on top of that, direwolves have keen smell, so even if you go invisible, they can still kind of locate you. But at the same time, I still rolled that with disadvantage. Their pack tactics gave him advantage, so it was a straight roll either way as he tried to get away from him. Leo, go ahead and continue your turn, please. I'm sorry.
I'll hit this guy 3 times.
Alright, this dire wolf guy that you're looking at, he's got a good chunk of Apollo, but you don't see Apollo anywhere. Go ahead and make your attack roll. That looks like a hit. That looks like a hit. That looks like a hit. Go ahead and give me some damage numbers. And are you doing anything special with these attacks?
I'll dump 1 Divine Smite on one of them.
Alright. Meow to you too, kitten.
My cat's very talkative right now.
It's alright, I don't mind. You have the power, alright, Going to be putting a red note on you, sir. Anything else for your turn, Leo?
Nope, that's my action, bonus action, and movement.
Your bonus action is what? Oh, what?
The 3rd attack.
Okay, yeah, that's that. Alright, so with that, you come out swinging. Left, right, left, or right, left, left. I don't know, one of the 3. And you manage to slam into this direwolf, and he looks very hurt from the attacks. However, he is still kicking as your divine smite goes in and starts to burn through his fur, empowering your divine light into him. He kind of looks at you angrily as he's kind of lost track to a point with Apollo. He still knows where he's kind of at, but you have gained his attention. And probably half of his friends who were closing in on the rest of you. Gordon, you were up. What would you like to do? But you're on the ground too, right?
No, I passed my strength save.
Oh, that's right. Go right ahead and do what you like to do. Right, left. Gotcha.
It's tempting to pull out the buzzsaw,
Well, you.
but there's also a lot of wolves.
Oh no.
That, and I don't know who's still in tents and where those people are.
Yeah, there's certain people you can't see, especially Lindsay.
Lindsay, I don't know if I could see Frederick and Christian, what tent Azalea came out of. Because I'm pretty sure this will go through the. Yeah, I can't see Apollo. Because I'm pretty sure again that this will go through a tent wall. Like the tent wall isn't actually a wall.
So that move might not be a good idea. So why don't you tell me how you want to do this?
Go ahead and get my little token out.
Okay, you bring out the spiritual weapon. Let me see if I got him still. There he is. Woo. Just get him on the field. Where do you want him?
Just drop him right there is fine.
Alright, so this spiritual weapon...
The one closer to the fire.
That's still going to hit both of them. I mean, where do you?
No, I was saying it's the one closer to the fire that he's
Oh,
attacking.
okay, that's
right?
the one he's attacked. Gotcha. Alright, so that's a 24 to hit. He takes 12 points of damage as your spiritual weapon, which is what today? Giant sledgehammer?
No, it's
goofy
the
mount.
wind chimes, remember?
Oh, the wind chime. That's why I had to ask you, because I can't remember this stuff. So these magical wind chiming spiritual weapons appear above this direwolf, and they kind of clang together as they beat up against its head, dealing 12 points of damage as they come together, make the soft dinging noise, and then kind of echo away as this direwolf gets clobbered, and he's just kind of looking at it dazed. It's like, what the heck just happened? What else would you like to do for your turn, since that was your bonus?
That was a bonus.
Do you believe you have
And
an
I
action,
will-
sir?
I'll follow it up to continue the ringing sounds, hopefully in this motherfucking wolf's ear.
Toll of the Dead means I have to make one of them things saving throws, right? Let's see, what is that? 15 wisdom?
And yup.
And you're attacking the one you attacked, right? That is a
Yes, that's why it's the damaged one.
That is a 13, which means he takes 19 points of that damage. Good round for you. And he's just got hit with the wind chimes, and all of a sudden he hears this louder noise of a bell ringing inside his head, and he just looks like he got this most major migraine a dog could ever have, and he just kind of crouching over, trying to figure out what the heck is going on inside his head. So he looks hurt. He looks very hurt, but he's still kicking. These dire wolves are definitely a little hardier than the ones you fought before. And that will end your turn, correct?
For the sake of just actually using any movement at all, I'll move there, but other than that, I'm good.
Paulo, do you think you need any help down there? Are you okay?
I mean,
Lindsay's coming out of
Lindsay
the
does what
tent.
Lindsay
Well,
does.
no, Lindsay can't help you because you're invisible, right? She doesn't know where you
Yeah,
are.
she doesn't
so
know where
doesn't-
you're at,
Yeah,
or where
so
you
she
were.
doesn't even know you're hurt. Dang. Alright, so with that, alright, Lindsay, let's take a quick look at what you can do besides the violin. And then we'll look at the violin to see if that's a good idea. Get over here, mouse. Let's see what we got, folks. We have that. Yeah, we're not going to use that. So, who's close to her that has low AC? Sarah's at 16. Oscar's down south. I'm going to make a perception check on her just to see if she can see Oscar, and then if she does, she's going to try to use one of her violin techniques on him. So let me go ahead and roll perception. I'm going to put a DC 13 on this. And then let's see what she got. She does not see Oscar, so Sarah, you're going to get... She rips a cord across her violin. She turns towards Zareth that points directly at him. And this, like, stone, like, it feels kind of stony across your body as your armor class goes up +2 for this fight. Your body forms a stone-like complexion. This can be used on self or ally. She used it on you, and it will last for 1 minute or 6 rounds. And then she kind of looks around for something else to do, but since she does not see Apollo, she will hold off on healing word. Going to the direwolves now.
6 rounds is not a minute, it's 10 rounds.
Or
6
10 rounds.
seconds
I'm sorry.
round.
I put my notes in wrong.
Get your math straight, man. Get your math straight.
No, man, I don't have a degree in that nonsense. Nobody needs
Hey,
that.
counting is hard.
Ran out of fingers when I did it, okay? Leave me alone.
You have toes.
I lost track after 4. So, Borden, it's going to be cleric fun time. Let's see here. I kind of want to put him like. Alright, so I can like space him closer to the fire here to make room. Since they're kind of big. And he's kind of going to get underneath your weapon there. These here will kind of close in around these guys. Zareth, you get company behind you. Leo, you get company behind you. Probably should triple that company. Here, let me move him down. I definitely have the movement for it. Alright, so we'll start with Leo since he's going to get 3 of these. And his AC is kind of hard to hit. So 3 wolves jump up and try to bite the paladin. Does a 20 hit?
20 is my armor class.
So that is the only hit. Let's get a strength check from you as you get bit on the arm and they start to pull you down. And with that, you use one of your blades to deflect one wolf that tried to jump at you. You use your other hand to try to knock the teeth out of the other wolf that tried to jump at you. But the one that you took your attack and vengeance on at the beginning of the round before, he reaches up and manages to bite like right in the elbow region where somehow there's like a little slit in your armor that just kind of let him get a bite in on you, and you just kind of took 5 points of piercing damage as you quickly clobber him in the nose and get him to fall back. Apollo, there will be one attacking you using his sense of smell, and he will bite at you. We'll go ahead and disengage the pack tactic. 15 hit?
That hits.
Well, actually, you would have advantage because you're on the ground.
Isn't he still invisible?
Yes, but they could smell him.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a... You can be invisible all you want, but that does not keep the other senses from detecting you, and these guys are very sensitive to smell. So 11 piercing damage to Apollo. Apollo loses concentration, and currently he will have to make a death saving throw next round. Let's see here. Moving on to Borden with 3 on his own. 3 more wolves surround Borden. And your AC was 18?
Yeah, you got 1 hit in there.
Alright, so go ahead and give me the strength check as 5 points of piercing damage kind of stabs into you. You failed to save this time, and he just manages to grip onto your arm and pull you off your feet, and you fall flat down onto the ground, and you're kind of like struggling with this wolf biting into your arm. So, yeah, you're currently prone, which shouldn't be too much trouble next round. Zalia's going to take 1, and Lindsay's going to take 2. Zalia. She manages to duck out of the way of that one. Lindsay, however, has 2 on her. And with the pack tactics, those look like they might hit 1 time. Yeah, 1 time on her, so she'll have to make a DC saving throw on that. Strength check. Boop. Oh wait, that's Direwolves. My bad. Lindsay, you need to do strength, please. So this wolf bites her for 14 points of damage. However, she manages to rip herself away from it, keeping her balance as she kind of gets ready for another string across the violin. With that, it comes up to Oscar's. Or no, I was there. Hold on 1 second. Let me get him real quick. This is straight roll on you since there's nobody surrounding you. But a 20, I'm sure, would hit. I need a DC strength save from you. Natural 1. You fall flat on your face, taking 11 points of damage, and this direwolf seems to be going for your jugular as he kind of has you pinned down to the ground, his paws on your back and his teeth just biting at your ear, blowing you kisses or whatnot, or biting your ear off, one or the other. Oscar, it is now your turn. How would you like to save the day today?
Going to, okay, so none of the, round tents are there.
Yeah, none of the round tents count, just the ones that are triangular.
Be careful about Apollo, though.
by all means, help him make his save throws.
Okay. So,
There's always
Can
a
I-
careful spell.
yeah, well, yeah, that's the plan. And is there anyone in this radius?
Well, you just ran your hand across him.
I mean, other than us, is there anyone that I don't see?
No, as far as no, the other people would be in the tents. So yeah, nobody.
Around 10 something matter. They're good in this radius.
Yeah, you're good here, so you're not going to hurt anybody like Frederick or anything. However, those people might be waking up to join the fight on the outside, like maybe they're chasing off stray wolves. So these are just like the ones you have to contend with.
Okay, I'm going to cast Fireball
All right.
at that location.
Mhm.
And I'm going to use the Careful spell on it, and I can choose up to 3 people.
And there's
I'm going to choose Gordon, his spiritual weapon, if I would hit that.
no,
Spiritual
that's-
weapon isn't actually thinking that takes damage.
Yeah, you can't hit that. So Borden, Leo, and Apollo.
So, Apollo's not going to be in range.
How much range is that?
20.
Oh, okay. All right then. I mean, you could just.
He's still going
cover-
to take, like, they're going to take damage either way. They just make the save.
So these three.
So I thought you were casting it from here.
Yeah, that would
No, I'm
hit
casting
Apollo,
it
but
from here.
yeah, one over.
There
So
you
that
go.
would miss him. So I need to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6. I'm gonna let you decide. Do you think that wolf on the upper right is in the range?
It does touch his squares.
So
It
I
touches
have-
more than one of his squares, so I
Alright,
would
so yeah,
think he
okay.
makes
So
a
we'll
save.
go ahead and make 6 saving throws. Thought I'd throw that out there. All right. So what am I rolling? Go ahead and roll the spell, please. So I know what I'm rolling against. And what level are you casting?
The highest level I can, which is its level.
No, okay.
3.
So go ahead and cast the spell. Or did okay, there it is.
And-
It's-
Both of them have a instant save. So they only take half that.
Alright, 4, 5. Careful spell cancels them from even getting hit.
No, it just makes them save instantly. Oh, it's up here.
No, from what I understood, careful spell puts like a mold around them, so it just blasts around them. But double check it. I might be wrong. If it's wrong, then we're going to pass out half damage and hit your friends. So one of the wolves, or two, let's see, so 2 of them make the save. So let's go ahead and put theirs. And you did 30 points of damage, so that puts us. Come on, mouse. Click on the. Am I on the wrong?
So, for our careful spell, when you cast a spell that forces other creatures to make a saving throw, you can protect some of those creatures from the spell's full force. To do so, you spend 1 sorcery point and choose a number of creatures up to your charisma modifier. A chosen creature automatically succeeds on the saving throw.
And I guess half damage to you guys. And
that
I'm
was
here
30 full, right?
30 full, so 15
Yeah.
points of damage. So I go ahead and
Gotcha.
take away. Well, here's some good news. This one dies. And then 30 points of damage all around. Oh, hey, look, another one died. Alright, so you detonate a fireball in this range and it just blows up and explodes around all these dire wolves. 2 of them take the blunt of this and die instantly. The majority of them, the 4 of them, takes a good portion of the damage, and you could definitely see them limping around, looking pretty hurt from that situation. I think I forgot to take this guy's. No, he took half damage. My bad. Yeah, that should be everything. Alright. Anything else for your turn, Oscar, and as you blow these guys away? Oscar, and anything else? Are you
I
muted?
don't think so, no.
Alright, just checking in case you want a quicken spell or anything. Alright, so moving on,
I was thinking on it.
it is now Zara's turn. What would you like to do?
Does the wolf still have me grappled?
You are prone, you're not technically grappled. You know what?
Okay, then.
You're grappled. Make another strength check because you rolled a natural one, I'm afraid.
Oh no, I'm gonna leave it there.
No, you're...
I'm gonna draw a dagger with my other hand and stab the wolf in its eye.
Well, I would still like for you to make a strength check to see if you could turn around and do that, because you did roll a natural one on that.
That's happened, so probably not.
Yeah, so you're still down there. However, you're not, like, you're strained. You're not kept from doing what you want to do. So go ahead and make your attack.
I can't select my token.
Did you
Oh,
pull...
never mind, I had the wrong tool selected.
Yeah.
That is 24 to hit for 9 piercing damage.
Alright, and which one are you attacking? This one here that's out here by its lonesome with you?
Yes.
Alright, so
I believe that's the one on the grapple.
Alright, so with that, you pull your dagger out and you take a swing at it. You try to get up, however, you're still restrained. So you won't be able to move. So you managed to do 9 points of piercing damage to this thing as you kind of rip behind you and try to stab him off to get him off you. Anything else for your turn? As the music gets really loud. Is that music too loud, you think?
No. Am I...
I'm
Not
asking
from
the
what I
audience.
covered.
You go ahead and do what you're doing. I'm asking the audience.
No, that's it.
That's it for your turn? Alright, yeah, I guess you can't do much else on the ground. Apollo, it is now back to you. How about you make that death saving throw for me, please? That is one success for you. Go ahead and mark that. Leo, it is your turn. You just saw Apollo's corpse appear out of nowhere. Automagically there. These fireballs just went off in your location as you kind of had to face the brunt of that. But you managed to see 2 of them go down with the flames.
I'll go ahead and take 2 attacks on this guy.
Alright, thanks, Imber. Go ahead and make your attack roll for me, please. That will hit, and that will hit. Go ahead and roll me some damage. 16
Then I'll pop a Divine Smite on this one too.
Alright, which one are we doing? This one here at the bottom? That top one. Alright, gotcha. Just make sure.
Yep.
So that's a total of 16 plus 14 equals 30, if I recall my math right. You slice into it with the first blade. You slice into it again, and then you pump in your Divine Smite, and your radiant damage just ripples through its corpse and just spirals out the other end as it just lights this wolf up, and then it falls to the ground, dead to the attack. Anything else for your turn? Movement or anything?
Bonus action, use it to attack this guy.
Go ahead and make that swing for me, please. That will hit. Go ahead and roll me some damage.
I'll Divine Smite this one too.
Alright, so another slash behind you. You hit it for 7 points, and then you pump a Divine Smite for 17 points of damage. So this guy takes a good brunt. That light ignites through this one, however, not as bright as the last one. So he is still sustaining. He is still tough and hardy. He is definitely looking at you with hate in his eyes, but he just watched 3 of his comrades fall that round. Borden, what damage would you like to do? You see...
Oh, before there is any damage,
Yeah, I was about to remind everybody, we do have a Apollo on the ground.
that's effective.
Yeah, that's a long range. What do you plan on doing with that range?
Let me get rid of that. I just wanted to double check I was,
That's a
gonna
quick way to...
overstretch anything.
That's a quick way to do it.
Alright. I can see everyone on the map right now, yeah?
You know,
People inside of tents are not counting.
Yeah,
Obviously.
but I'm thinking with a bonfire in the middle of camp, you probably can't see Apollo because he's on the other side of the flames.
I would argue that bonfire is massively oversized for a small camp like this.
I will concede and say yes, you're probably right. So I will let you make a perception check with a 10 DC just to be average on it to see if you see him. So go ahead and make that, and then I'll let it go whatever way. Very well, you
I
see
see
him.
the fuck out of him.
You sure do. You
I
see.
saw him while he was invisible before
You know
he went
what?
down.
You know what really tipped you off is that spray of blood that's just coming out of one of his wounds, just shooting straight up in the air and then falling back down in his face.
Alrighty, so anyone who has taken damage, so myself, Leo, Apollo, Zareth, and then
Well, what
has Lindsay taken a hit yet?
she managed to duck out of her attacks, I believe. Let me double check. But what are you using? Oh yeah, I guess she did take a hit.
Mass healing word.
There you go, everybody. So you chose 6 targets. So yeah, she could use that as well. So she takes 12 points. Go ahead and give yourself 12 points back to everybody who got it.
That almost counteracts the earlier fireball.
Yeah, see, he made up for it. And with that, Apollo, you get 12 points of healing as well. So you will be able to stand back up next round and hopefully do something. What else would you like to do with your turn? I believe that's a bonus action, even though it's mass.
That was a bonus, yeah. So I don't get to use my magic wind chimes, unfortunately.
The wind chimes just kind of dangle there as the wind blows through and... You'd still hear
So
them chime.
for action, the one just south of me is still kicking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all 3 of them are. If you were to...
Oh, I realized the others are.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you wanted to... He's probably the worst off, the one on the south end. But still, he looks pretty hardy.
Well, he was also the one I hit last round, so that's why his... You know what? Let's see if we can't make him feel the burn there a little bit.
Alright, let's see, what do I need to do? Toll the dead, 15 wisdom. Let's see what these dire wolves can do. Yeah, I didn't expect much. So 11 points of damage on the one south of you. And Toll the Dead is a cantrip, so you are allowed to cast that. Good for you. Anything else for your turn? I assume you want to stay put.
No, I will be staying, but I will, however, move the chimes
Where would you like them?
1 square south, just so it's not overlapping like that.
That's fine.
It bothers me.
That's
It is all.
fine. That is perfectly fine. Don't mind doing that. Lindsay will
Yeah, no, I'm
survey
good.
the situation. She can't verbally communicate to anybody. Can she? But does she think she needs to help anybody? She just saw Apollo get healed, and then he's still looking rough, I would say, right? How bad are you, Apollo? 12. Let's see here. We'll get
I
back.
have about a
Yeah.
third of my hit points.
Alright, so Lindsay will kind of look over you and just kind of give you a face saying, do you need healing? She's kind of like putting her hands out, like, do you want me to help you? So I'll allow you to go ahead and
I mean,
answer.
I'd figure in the moment, like, I literally just got back from almost death, so...
Alright, so she'll use her bonus action to level 2. Healing Word you. So 6 points of extra as you get healed from that. Let's see, what else can she do? She's been helping Zareth get buffed. She can buff somebody else. But I think what we'll do, we'll just kind of... Let's just have her... Wow, she doesn't have a weapon, so never mind, that's all she's going to do.
She could punch the wolf for being a bad puppy.
I think she's going to... Let me look at her gift one more time. She still has charges on that. Alright, so she pulls the strings back on her violin once more, and the insignia of Kazia appears, and there's also a insignia of Mirthvale showing on her violin, and this extreme violent wind starts to blow between her and the dire wolves that are next to her as she kind of focuses it in this direction to kind of get these two off her. So with that, let me see here, make sure it hits. Will be forced in a spear region of 10 feet away from the caster. Oh, so she might hit Azalea as well, so I might have to go ahead and roll that for her. But dex checks on the direwolves. Did I get 2 dex checks there? Oh wow, they pass. She looks at the wolves and then to Azalea, who rolls. Yeah, this breeze kind of passes through trying to repel these wolves, and then nothing happens because they say. Then she kind of looks at Azalea and gives her an apologetic look. With that, dire wolves are now going to take their vengeance on whoever else they could find. So let's see what our setup is. Zareth is still visible. We'll go ahead and get him out of the way. The dire wolf comes striking up at you and bites at the air because nobody's on the other side to give him pack tactics. So with that, it is now, let's see here, Lindsay's going to take 2 of these shots, so let's see what we got here. Pack tactics on Lindsay. Though the first one missed, the second one does hit for 10 piercing, and she needs to make a strength saving throw. Feels like I'm playing this game by myself. I'm sorry, guys. Lindsay is on the ground as 10 points of piercing damage kind of bites into her arm and sends her to the floor, and she's just like silently yelling, though nothing comes out. Azalea is going to take 1 of these dire wolf attacks. See that? That's a hit, so we'll accumulate that damage. Like she's just here to sponge. So yeah, she takes some damage there from that one. Moving on to Borden with his triangle of death. Let's see if we can get a hit on him, shall we? 1, 2, 3. And pack tactics will have 2 of them hit, with 1 being a natural 20. 18 piercing. I need 2 DC strength saves from you, and then 12 piercing.
Pass and pass.
And then I need a concentration check for a spiritual weapon.
No, that's not a concentration.
Wait, double checking. Alright. So with that, you take 18 plus 12, that's what, 30?
That's 30 total.
And then that will end the dire wolves on you. Dead. So pack tactics is off the table, so Theo will just take a straight roll, which will fight against his plate mail as he quickly repels the wolf away, and now it falls to Oscar's turn once more.
So, can I make an addition to Stone Soon?
What are you trying to do?
Can he have 2 buffs on him?
Not if they're the same. Only the one with the highest value will be accepted. Like, you can't buff his stone skin further if that's what you're trying to do. But if you want to give him haste or something else, then yes, you can do that.
Okay.
As long as it's not the same buff.
Okay. I will cast haste on... Yeah, I will cast haste on Zareth.
Alright, click the spell so I make sure I know the range. Up to 30 feet. And with that, Zareth, you are now hasted. And anything else for your turn? Oscar.
I'm going to focus the closest wolf that's attacking Borden. Or actually, hang on.
Well, you just used your action. So I need to know how you're attacking with your bonus action?
Yes. Bonus
How?
action, subtle, or not, or
Quicken spell?
quicken spell.
Alright, so that's what I needed to hear. Alright, so take a sorcery point, and what spell are you quickening?
Scorching Ray.
Alright, so go ahead and cast me 3 attacks, tell me where they're going. 2 hit, 1 miss, 1 joins the fire that's already in front of you. Where do you want these 2 to go? This one? Or actually this one here probably looks worse for wear. With 17, or with 11 plus 7, that equals 18. Were you focusing this one, or which one did you want?
Yeah, I said the one closest to me at Borden.
Alright, gotcha. Just making sure. So yeah, 18 points of fire damage. 2 fireballs hit that direwolf, spiraling him over the flames. You know, they go right through the flame. Third fireball actually joins the flames, makes the bonfire a little brighter. But the other 2 kind of spiral and knock this direwolf into oblivion as it turns into ash against the floor. Well, scorched corpse. I won't say turn to ash. And that should finish your turn, right?
Yeah.
And with that, we are up to Zareth, who is now hasted, but pinned. So I need another strength check just to get out of that. Athletics. Or acrobatics, if you like. And with that, you are still restrained. But you are hasted, so you do have 2 actions.
I'm gonna try it again then.
Gonna burn an action to try again? Go for it. You managed to roll away from it and pull out of its pin. You have another action. What would you like to do? And you still have your movement. Half movement if you stand up.
I stand up.
Alright, that's half your movement.
I disengage. And when I'm hasted, I have double movement, right? So I still have 30 movement left. Or
What's your movement? 30 starting out. So
my movement is 30 at normal, so
so
then it's just 50.
yeah, you would have 30. Because you use half
Okay.
of your movement. If half your movement from 60, it'll be 30. So yeah, you still have 30 feet of movement.
Then I disengage.
So your bonus action, disengage.
Yes, and I move over here.
Alright, so you disengage from him, and now you're over here. You still have 1 hasted action. What do you want to do with it?
Nothing, because I can't reach anything.
Don't you have a... Never mind. No, you don't.
No, I did.
Or wait, don't you have a bow?
There
The
are
longbow
longbows
and the
back
bat of
home.
holding.
Yeah, remember we talked... I do
didn't say I
recall...
took it.
I do recall the conversation where you said you took a longbow of holding, or out of the bag of holding. So if you want to use the longbow, I would suggest you should have.
Yes.
You should have either. Okay, just to kind of back up, because like we said, you're still kind of new to the game. If you're going to disengage, you might as well have hit him before you left.
Well,
So-
I thought that because I used.
It does not matter
I
what order you use your action, bonus actions, or whatnot. But what matters is how you use them before you actually move. So if you want to either attack him with your blade before you leave, or if you wanted to move to get in range with a bow, you still have the hasted action, and I'm trying to make sure that you get your actions out, because wasting an
Okay.
action after he gave you haste kind of defeats the purpose of why he gave it to you. So tell
Yes,
me
no,
what...
then I hit it with my short sword.
So right before you dash off and disengage, go ahead and make your attack, but next time kind of know what order you want to do things, alright?
Okay,
That will be a hit for 10 damage,
then
and then you disengage and get away. There you go, so the haste did not get wasted. And with that, I do believe that ends your turn, correct?
Yes.
Apollo, you're alive. People care.
Somehow. I'm sort of surprised.
Are we going to do the slurping noises this round, or
I was thinking about it.
I've been
I want to know where
practicing.
you can drop it that doesn't hit someone else. So there's not a bunch of spots for that to happen to you.
Well, what does
Alright.
Apollo want to do? Because
Just gonna back up just a little bit, and then at this wolf near Leo, I'm gonna cast a Chaos Bolt.
all right.
at-
Well, you took
first
some offensive spells, didn't you?
I did. So it does a 17 hit.
That does hit.
Now, so how this spell works is whatever the damage is of the first D8, which in this case would be a 2, it determines the type of damage. So for
Right,
this
right.
case, it would be 2 cold or 3 cold damage plus the 1d6, which was so 4 cold damage from that.
I'm going to say since these wolves have hardier fur, that they're going to take half of that. Since you're using cold damage, so a total of 2.
Isn't it that you can choose any of the two?
No,
D8?
No,
it's,
the first D8 of the 2 chooses the type of damage.
shouldn't that be 2d8 though? And then you pick one of the 2 dice?
It is.
Wow, that was a shitty roll. So it was a 1 or a 2, and you pick cold?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do it where the first dice is gonna determine the damage. That's just how I'm gonna do it.
Okay, if that's how you want to do it, then I will allow that, and he will take half damage from that. As Leo, or I'm sorry, is there anything else for your turn, Apollo? You might have something else up your sleeve.
No, that'll be it.
Yeah, but he's not going to do it that way. So if he's going to just take the first dice roll, then it's fine. So with that, you finish your turn with a Chaos Bolt that spirals out, hits this direwolf. It kind of gets tapped by you and looks at you like, that's cold, man. It's got that cold look in his eyes. He kind of gazes at you. But however, now he has to deal with Leo. Go right ahead, Fred.
I'll take 2 attacks on him.
Go ahead and make your attacks there. Yep, both of those hit for 26 points of damage. That sounds like an ouchie if I ever heard one. Wow, what's up with you guys hitting right on the number? Like, he had 26 HP left. Good for you. So you come down with 2 blades. How do you want to do this, since it might be the end of the wolves? If you
I'll
guys-
just cut off one of his feet, and another one stabs right up through his head.
And with that, you slice off one of his legs. He just moans out real loudly, and then all of a sudden, this blade ends his life. If it cuts through his head, and then the dire wolf tramples over, bleeding out. And now it is. Anything else on your turn? Did you want to move or anything? And then you get ready for the. Well, you used 2 attacks. Did you want to use your bonus?
Yeah, I was gonna move up here and attack this guy.
Yep, I didn't want to end your turn prematurely. By all means, go ahead. And a 21 will hit. This paladin never seems to miss. Give me some damage. And you're dropping
Oh,
Divine
the
Smite
plus
into
8
it.
to hit.
So, and these guys are pushover anyway, but that's what's out here in the wilderness, a lot of dire wolves. And with that, he takes 19 points of your damage as you slash into him, and Divine Smite right behind it. Bolt of light just kind of ignited in its body, and it still looks at you kind of a little ruffled up. Looks pretty hurt. Gordon, what would you like to do now that the turn order has come back to you once more?
Spiritual weapon's gonna take a swing after moving up to here for positioning.
Mm-hmm. Flavor-wise,
I'd like to clock him on the head as it passes over.
Yeah, go ahead. and-
19 will hit.
Yep, that will hit. Pong! at 6 points of damage gets delivered as the chimes come in and ding right on top of its head, and then move over behind it. It is still kicking though. And what would Borden like to do?
The chime and bell combo hasn't let me down yet.
So we're gonna toll the dead? Is that what I'm hearing?
We're gonna toll the dead.
And so Wiz? Yeah, he's not gonna pass that one today, and that sounds really loud. He's just gonna go ahead and check out.
Did he actually check out, or he just lay down and give up?
Well, he kind of looked at that bell and it rang in his head, and he's like, you know what? Had enough with sheep, had enough with people. He took his time card out of his pocket and said, I'm clocking out. And then he fell over dead, because you clock out, you're dead. And anything else with your turn? I think that's it though, right? You don't want to move, right? Action, bonus
I can
action.
still safely move here.
Yeah, you're good doing that. For the sake of argument, I'm going to say Lindsay motioned Azalea to kind of move back and away. She attacks a opportunity, but she wants her to get out of the picture. I mean, she could probably attack, but I don't have a sheet ready for her yet, because I don't really want her as a infighter type character. She'll go ahead and take that attack. And then we'll roll a d10 or d20. Wow, she's staying on her feet. So as she kind of walks away from this fight, she takes a total of 9 more damage. So that puts her at cumulative. Somewhere around there. And then Lindsay's just kind of surveying the area now for what she can do. What was the reason behind this? Her violin is glowing with 2 different emblems of the gods as you kind of look in her direction. They're glowing a soft light. However, she kind of rips a chord across the violin. This time, no emblem showing. As she casts, which probably needs a spell level. Yep. How many spells do you got left, girl? She's going to get violent with this one. And they need to make Constitution saving throw. Oh sure, 2 of them makes that. But this one does not. Half damage and not push, so that's 19, so we'll go ahead and take -9 on that one, -9 on this one, and then this one gets pushed 10 feet, 5, 10, and takes the full brunt of that blow. Full brunt of that blow. I can speak. As a thunder wave ignites from her location, and she manages to get one of them to be pushed back and away, which is what she's been trying to do. But these other 2 dire wolves kind of ducked in, ducked out, and got into a position where they dodged her thunder wave, managing to take half damage on that. Dire wolves. See, this is why it feels like I'm taking up too much time. I feel like those 2 kind of went together. 2 dire wolves on Lindsay. Let's go ahead and see what happens to her real quick. As they still get pack tactics. Natural 20 on her, and an 18 will definitely hit. Okay, ignore the bottom one. So 18, 30 for 29. 12. Why am I blanking out here? Let's do it this way.
It's 29 from the first 2 attacks you rolled.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I could do math. Lindsay looks like she just took a beating. However, I have to also roll her saving throws for strength. She manages to pull back and away and try to get away from him, and she's got a panic look to her face as this wolf comes back over, and this wolf that Zareth was on kind of tramples through. Yeah. 2 more on Lindsay. One will hit. Lindsay goes down as one of the wolves finish trampling on top of her and starts biting into her. She just kind of falls over, her violin and her bow kind of leaving her hands as she falls to the ground. Direwolf on Borden as we continue the attack round for the wolves. 20 will hit you. We'll go ahead and give you some damage, sir. And I will need a strength check. Thank you very much. That's 10 points of piercing damage as this one tries to go up there and bite you. It kind of bites against the neck of your, kind of gets up, paws on your armor, bites at your neck, tries to pull you down, but slips away as you kind of bash your shield, taking only 10 points of piercing. Yeah, the rest of them are dead. So, Oscar, you just saw Lindsay fall to the ground, surrounded by 4 wolves.
Going to move here. I'll take the opportunity attack.
Alright. Let me go ahead and roll that for you. So, as you try to pull away, this wolf tries to bite at you. 13 does not hit.
That misses.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have pack tactics, so you're good. Alright, go ahead.
So I'm in range, so I don't have disadvantage. And I'm going to use a quicken spell, and on my action, cast Scorching Ray against the one above me, and on my bonus action, cast Scorching Ray on the one beside me.
So this one here first, or what? Just being the one. Okay, that one
That one
first.
first.
So go ahead and roll me the 3 rolls for Scorching Ray. Alright. Go ahead and give me that Scorching Ray attack. So 3 fires ignite off as you kind of lift your hand up. 1 miss. That's critical. That's a hit. Go ahead and roll me damage. So that's what, 27? Slam, miss. As 2 of your bolts hit this thing, the Scorching Rays, and it tramples to the ground for a moment and quickly stands back up, but it looks like it's on its last leg as it's barely there, looking like it's very injured. What would you like to do with your quicken spell?
I'll try to finish it off with the first Scorching Ray.
Go ahead
And
and roll
then
me
the
damage.
second Scorching Ray is against the one. Alright.
Alright, first one kills. So your firebolt goes ahead and damages it one more time and it falls to the ground. And then the second hit is 10 points on the one that's closest to your right. You fire off the second one, it kind of spirals off and hits the dead corpse and rolls away. And then you're like, okay, that guy's actually dead. Turn to the third one and send it over there and deal 10 more points of damage. He looks somewhat hurt. Anything else for your turn, Oscar?
I think that'll end it.
That will end it. We'll go ahead and say, Zareth, what would you like to do?
Let me check. I'm going to move here since the tent is trampled. Cast Cure Wounds on Lindsley.
Oh, somebody has Cure Wounds. Alright, go ahead and roll that for me.
Let me up to my spell list.
Yep. So 4 points of damage to get her back off the ground. Alright.
And then I'm going to attack this wolf twice.
I don't think you can attack
I'm
it
hasted.
twice. You're hasted, but
I'm
you
hasted.
used an
I get
action to cure wounds.
2 attacks. Yes, so then I have
You
my
used your
fifth
first action to cast Cure Wounds. Cure Wounds,
Yes.
unlike Healing Word, does not take up a bonus action. It takes an actual action. And
I think what he's
okay,
getting
you're
at is
using
with the
2
two-handed
weapons.
fighting style.
Yeah, okay, you need to remind me of that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to hit at. Alright, so yeah, with your 2-handed
Yes,
fighting
but-
style, you do 2 attacks on your turn. Got it. Go for it. I'm sorry. So you're going left, right with this, or right, left.
Right, left.
So go ahead and make your attack roll. That will hit. However, you are.
And since Lindsley is back up, that
She
means
is
that I get
technically
sneak
not
attack.
back up. She is still prone, so she's not engaged with the enemy.
Okay, so then it's just 12.
Yeah. Sorry about that, friend. But that was a good idea, but she's not able to get re-engaged right that moment, so she's technically still out of the fight.
Okay, and then my bonus action, another attack.
Alright, what's your left hand?
Yes,
Go ahead and make that attack, bro.
that's 15 for 11 piercing damage.
Yeah, that still hits. I'm about to take off 211. No, just 11. You slash this one up after healing Lindsay, who is now currently ready to rejoin the fight, but not quite yet. She's still waking up from the cure spell and seeing the situation around her. But you managed to save her from taking saving throws. Good on you. This wolf looks very hurt, however, he is still standing. With that, we come up to Apollo's turn. What would you like to do, sir?
Let me see. I'm just gonna cast a vicious mockery on the one Zereth just hit.
Alright, go ahead and roll me a beautiful bean footage as I roll you a DC wisdom save. That will meet it, so nothing happens. Right?
Nope.
Alright. Anything else for your turn?
Nope, that'll be all.
And with that, we come back to Leo. Got a few dire wolves that are on the ground. You got Lindsay, who is just coming out of a daze, with Sereth over there trying to help. What would you like to do?
I'll move here and then attack this guy.
Alright, go ahead and give me an attack rolls. As you bring your weapons down upon this dire wolf that's surrounding Lindsay. All three will hit. Go ahead and give me some damage. Matter of fact, I will stop you on the first hit as it kills. With your other two attacks, are you still able to move, or is that it?
That was the extent of my movement.
So with that, you get up there and then you manage to slice it a few more times. It's already dead, but you're just stabbing into it because there's nowhere else to go with these attacks. Anything else for your turn? Bonus actions or anything? I don't know if you have anything.
No.
Borden, what would you like to do?
You know what? Let's do it. That includes the maximized healing from the Beacon of Hope.
Ooh. So, you bring up the Buckler of Kazia, and you're invoking the healing projection of this shield, correct?
Yes.
Because she has two aspects on the shield, and you just need to know which one you're using. So with that, everybody within... What did I declare on that?
60 feet.
60
Well,
feet,
you
which is
rolled.
everybody. So everybody gets 35 HP as this breeze just kind of spills away from Borden. And you feel this energy just kind of welling up as the blessing of Kazia kind of circles around the camp. This green spiral energy is only cascading because of the fire that's lighting up the air. But other than that, you feel this charge of energy and everybody gets 35 HP. And that's your action. What would you like to do now?
With the bonus, I can still have this guy try to hit him.
And that will hit, so give me some damage.
No, that is actual healing, Zareth.
Yeah, if you reach max, then you're full. So keep that in mind. So yeah, the chimes go down and bang into it again. You hear the familiar sound of ding, 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 as the chimes ripple across his head, doing 8 force damage. Anything else for your turn? I think that will do it, right?
Yeah, no, that'll cut it for now.
Alright, Lindsay will
'Cause this
stand
guy's
up.
still in my face.
She'll motion thank you towards Zareth. Need to take one of those off. With your Kazia, yeah, that neutralized the fight pretty much. Anybody who was hurt is now fully, pretty much back in good shape.
I'm not.
She
I'm
is-
still down. I'm still down 15 right now.
Wow.
I've been taking a shit fest up here.
Amazing. So, I don't think Lindsay's gonna do anything more than a Vicious Mockery. That'll work, right? She'll cast Vicious Mockery on this one right here. Let's see, that's a Wisdom save from her. Let's see what we get. 6 points of damage, and that's what, disadvantage on next attack? If I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Something
She,
like that, yes.
Yeah.
Very rude hand signs.
No,
There's a middle finger involved.
No, here's what happened. She picked up her bow, she picked up her violin. She rippled another chord. No signias coming out. However, she points directly at that wolf, and then there's this rippling violin cadence going off in its head as it's mocked with the Vicious Mockery. And it takes 6 points of damage and has disadvantage on the next attack roll. With that, Lindsay...
That's still like the idea. She flips it off and it feels so bad about herself.
So, there's special reasons, and if you ever get to find out, you know, proper channels. So she is going to take 2 hits, 20 points of damage, and I will make her saving throws. I'm going to try to process this quickly here. She needs to make 2 strength. She is back on the ground. Oh god, she is really back on the ground. And I will say she is probably pinned. Yep. She gets pinned to the ground as she rolls a natural 1 on the second saving throw. With that, there's only one more dire wolf that can be active right now, so we're going to do an attack roll on Borden. No pack tactics, but a 24 does hit. I need a strength from you. That will pass, and you take 12 points of damage as it tries to go for your juggler. Gets a good bite on you, but misses the juggler completely and just manages to wound your neck even more and take you down for about 12 points of damage as it misses its chance to repel you to the ground. You take your buckler and you blow this guy literally away as the wind of Kazuya seems to still be blowing, but not giving any benefit towards anybody else. As for flavor, not for actuality. Oscar, these direwolves are thinning out. What would you like to do?
Oscar said BRB a second ago. He might not be back yet.
Then in that case, I will skip to Zareth. What would you like to do?
I'm going to check the direwolf in front of me.
Alright, you have advantage on your roll since you have an ally.
She's in combat this round, so
Yeah, she's in combat, so you're good to go. So everything counts this time as a rogue. And with that, you slash across its face. It clips through its jawline, and the blood just kind of spills out from there, and it just... That mental
All
image
over
of the
poor
violin.
Lindsay.
Yeah, you slash, and the blood just spills over at her. She's like, oh. She's got that disgusted look, but she can't scream or anything. And the direwolf kind of falls over. After taking that vicious mockery and your slashing blade, it's dead. So there's only one left on that end.
Okay, I'm going to jump over the corpse, move here, and then I'm going to attack it twice, because with my hasted attack and my bonus action.
Yes, go for it. That will
So
hit.
that's a total of 20 damage.
Well, I see 17 on the first one. What did you roll on the second? Oh wait, you rolled both.
I didn't get sneak attack because I already used it.
Oh, that's what I was doing wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Good call. Good. I was adding left to right. Sorry. Old habit. It takes the blunt of your blows. However, it's still managing to survive, and it's currently thinking, I should stay home and do taxes instead of going after people like this. Oscar, are you back? Hello?
On to Apollo.
Yep, I see his mic unmuted, so I thought I'd check. But, Apollo, what would you like to do? 2 wolves remain, one on the far north end by Zareth looks the worst.
Okay. Let's see. Let's. Just gonna viciously mock the one next to Zareth, because why not?
Why not? So let me get to that card real quick and make the wisdom. No, he fails, so 3 damage. As it's viciously mocked by you, what do you say to it to mock it?
I don't know. You can go ahead and do whatever. I don't have anything on the mind.
You dirty dire wolf, you couldn't even bite a Zareth if you had to. Leo, what would you like to do on your turn now that...
It's actually saying a lot.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'll hit this guy here next to Gordon.
Alright, so this hardier wolf, you're like, I'll go after this one. You stalk up to this one, you're taking your swings, you slam both of your blades into it. Let me get some damage from you, friend. Yes, use all the power. So, let's see. Help me math real quick. That's 24, 34, 35, right?
Yep.
That looks like you killed it, my friend. So with that one there, you slash, pump another Divine Smite. His whole body lights bright white and then fades as your Divine Smite finishes it off. Anything else for your turn? Movement or anything? So you move into action?
Yeah.
Alright. And that
Move up here and then take my extra attack on this guy.
Yeah, go right ahead then. That's a crit. Go ahead and give me some damage. Roll a 1. I dare you. You're pumping a Divine Smite into it anyway.
There is no kill like overkill, alright?
Yeah, so with that, this thing just obliterates into dust as white light fades from existence, as it fades away from its own existence. I'm going to make that corpse unlootable. That was overkill, friend. And with that, the camp kind of settles down as everybody kind of pants and breathes and takes a look, take a survey. Even though you did not see Azalea actively in your fight, she was kind of like tending to stuff on the outskirts with the other party, so to speak. So I don't want to hear any, why didn't you help? Well, she was technically helping elsewhere, as her whole purpose here is story, not actually being part of the fight. With that, we will close off combat. Nighttime returns to peace. And now you all have these dire...
I cast another Cure Wounds on Lindsley because I think she's pretty low.
She does look pretty beat up, and there is blood on her, but it was the dire wolves. Go ahead and roll me the Cure Wounds. I mean, you guys are going to return to try to get a full res, but it doesn't hurt to heal. Never know what else might go bump in tonight. Alright. So with that, you guys kind of regroup. What do you guys want to do with the corpse?
I figured leave them till morning. We're in the 3rd watch at this point. They're not going anywhere.
So you guys are just going to kind of move them off to the side. I'll just kind of move them somewhere so we can check them later if you're going to do a survival on those corpses.
This is technically a trade caravan. It's, what,
Yeah.
11 pelts?
They definitely want to try. Yeah, they definitely want to try to harvest those. And there was probably a few more direwolves on the outskirts, so this will be your loot. The caravan itself will get like a random loot that I'll roll for it later. So, yeah, you guys finish up this fight. You probably spent about a good, 5 minutes trying to fight these off and kind of get things back to normal. The haste starts to wear off. You start to feel lethargic for a moment there, Sarah. However, after about 6 seconds, that fate goes away. and you feel normal, no longer hasted. Your cocaine wears off, friend.
Aww.
It's a bad habit. Don't do drugs, kids. All right. So with that, what would Dancing Light like to do now?
Back to sleep.
I guess
I'm
wash
back on
up
watch.
a bit, back to sleep.
All right. So the rest of this watch goes without any more further incidents, and whoever's on the third watch, who do I have?
It was Borden, Apollo, and Azalea.
You guys already went though, or fourth watch or whoever. Who's on the next watch, or do we need another watch? 2, 4, 6. If we go full 8 hours, we'll need another watch. If anybody, I don't think anybody else does, do they? Everybody else here had a watch, is what I'm saying, because
Yeah.
Oscar is AFK.
Oscar.
All right, so
Oscar's back.
oh, are you back?
I'm back.
All right. Did you want to have a watch with anybody, or did you just want to proceed?
If we need a new one, I can do a watch.
All right. Was there any NPCs you were interested in talking to, or actually?
None in particular.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me perception. Your watch goes by without any problems. But let me double check something. Okay, you rolled a 6. Yeah, you kind of doze off a little bit, trying to get through the watch, but nothing approaches the caravan. You're still here and intact, and you don't even catch any glimpse of anything going on in the camp. And with that, morning sets in. Azalea and Frederick and Red, they prepare like a morning breakfast for everybody. So no need to take off any rations yet for yourselves. You manage to get a full rest in even after that confrontation at the end. The caravan starts to load back up, and the horses are fed. Everything is kind of getting set up to the point to where they're getting ready to make this long trek into the mountains.
During those preparations, anyone
Oh.
of the party that wants to help me loot the direwolves?
Yeah, absolutely. We need
So
to come back
I'll
to
head
that.
up the survival.
Alright, so
What comes with that?
Alright,
So-
I help throw them.
alright, so in that case there is helping Borden. Borden. And Borden will make the survival check. Let me see what we get. Not bad, not bad. 17. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll say you'll be able to get 8 large pelts and 2 small. Are you wanting any teeth or bones from these things, or meat? I mean,
Unless they want to take the meat to, smoke over the fire on our next camp for extra food.
I will say there are 8 rations of direwolf meat cooked after they prepared it for breakfast. You guys can add that to your loot, and they cooked it for you, and they had their own as well. And on top of that, did you want any of the canines? I can give you some teeth too if you want.
I did the thing with the dice as a joke last time. I don't really have interest in taking grizzly trophies.
Well, if you want it, I can offer you 13 long canines of the direwolf. Which
I'll take those.
You never know. You might be able to do something with that later. With that, you've got your freshly, harvest pelts and dire meat that is cooked in your bag of holding now, I take it? And you all start to load back up.
Sure, I would like to position myself in the corner near the door in the wagon.
Alright. Yeah, I'm just giving you guys a chance there while I'm thinking out what's going on, if anything needs to stick out.
So are there spots that are not in the travel wagon, like riding shotgun sort of style?
No, I just want them near the door today.
Like the 2 guys who are like sharing the wagon inside, one of them still staying out there with the other driver. Leo, are you using that?
Yeah, in the morning I'll cast Find Steed,
All right,
and so I don't have to ride in the cart.
all right. So you cast Divine Steed. What does your steed look like?
A war horse.
Just a war horse.
It's white fur with the mane itself is black with streaks of silver. The big hefty horse with a mean face.
Easily enough. You spend your 10 minutes with this ritual, and then all of a sudden, this warhorse comes trampling down the road from where you're at, out of nowhere, and it just stops in front of Leo. Kind of motions up to you and just kind of shakes its head at you and nods.
I'll go ahead and pet it and then load it up.
While your steed is within 1 mile of you, you can communicate with it telepathically. This is going to be fun. So you mount up. Are you doing anything else with this warhorse, since I do recall a certain treasure?
Yeah, I could put the horseshoes on. That'd be fun.
Yeah, so you put these horseshoes on them. Takes about another 15-20 minutes. Shoeing the horse, and then all of a sudden, your horse is now floating in the air, if I'm not mistaken, 5 inches.
Yep, floats 5 inches, and I think it has a longer time it can be on a forced march.
Alright, so
yeah,
there you go.
something like it. And it doesn't get hindered by difficult terrain and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Let me just see if I can make that a little bit better. There. Alright, so you mount your horse. You're not staying inside with everybody else. Need some fresh air today. But technically that's a good idea, because you lighten the load inside the carriage, so the horses pulling aren't going to be forcing that much more weight going up the mountain. And on top of that, you can pretty much kind of trot up the mountain as if it was easy. Easy peasy for horsey squeezy. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and move back to the original scroll page as you guys start to make your way up the Apra mountain range. And with that, I would like to go on break real quick. How about that? You guys up for a break?
Yes.
Let's do 5 minutes. Put us at 2:41ish. Go ahead and take a quick 5 break to get pee, poop, drinks, whatever you need, stuff, things, and feel free to keep chat busy if you're not going to take a break. I shall return shortly, though. So, be right back, friends.
Yeah.
You may want
Be
to
right
turn the
back.
music down while you're gone.
This music's free, though. It's not going to be a problem. I could stop it anyway, though, in case you guys do apply, because apparently YouTube doesn't like any music, so let's just do that. Good idea. Alright, go ahead. I shall return shortly. Fill in the silence for me, friends. Don't be too quiet.
So I heard we were leveling up.
all at once, you know. This quiet hour is just a little disruptive, you know. I have returned. If nobody else has. Dang, it is super quiet, friends. Yep, everybody went on break as soon as I left, so sorry for the quiet time. I should definitely make a be right back sign. Need to make
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back. Just
Star, a question.
an answer.
If it's possible, because my hasted action, when I was knocked prone and grappled,
Uh-huh.
I made an acrobatics check to get free, which I failed.
Mm-hmm.
Then I made another acrobatics check, which I succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got up,
Uh-huh.
and then I used my bonus action to disengage. So I
Well,
believe
I
that I
gave
burned
you
all my actions there.
I gave you an initial chance to get up and out of that situation without using an action.
Okay. No, then that's what got me confused, because I think I used everything that I had from haste.
Yeah. I was like, well, I kept saying you had an action still, and that's why I kind of let you have that, because I feel like at the beginning of the turn you were still trying to struggle, and I gave you a free chance to get out of it. I mean, I don't have to do that. I can go ahead and be a mean DM and make you burn both. No, I'm here to help you, friend. Let me go ahead and take those actions away from you. That way, haste actually feels like it's doing something.
Well, yes, that was nice.
No, I give you a free chance on
Because
it.
I was like I was looking at it. It was like, all right, I have an extra action. I have double movement. Like, I can do all of this. And it was like, no, you still have this. And I got confused.
Yeah, you're fine. Like, if I gave it to you, I gave it to you. And, you know, a lot of people don't have to do that. But maybe.
So speaking of giving people things,
Mm-hmm.
we're still live for the stream, right? Because
Yeah,
the
we're
stream
still
actually could weigh in on this and tell me if I'm crazy.
What's that?
Because I can actually see the stream. Sorry, guys, my well, Twitch doesn't like my computer right now. But okay, like Dineo and all the crap going down with Azalea, well, they could be going down. Would it, like, would something that would protect her from being found benefit her in the long run? Something like a proof against divination sort of a style thing. I don't know if this will become a plot point in the future.
Well, from your conversation and the ideology of what's going on in her internal thinking, she's like, she doesn't want to be found by him, but she's kind of excited to be found by him. But at the same time, she knows it's going to cause complications because of certain events that happened between the last time she saw him. So it's like a mix.
Obviously, the birth of a kid's gonna mess with anybody.
Well, it's not necessarily the kid that's going to be the problem. It's the other guy.
What, Frederick or Danae?
Red.
The husband.
Yeah. Because I've actually roleplayed this scenario way back when Yahoo was a big deal. And this one girl was playing this character, and she got hooked up with this guy because I was offline for so long. I come back and like, oh, I want to kill him. But yeah, that situation still makes sense for this. But yeah.
Well, see, I'm more worried about the kid's safety because, in theory, and this is, Borden drawing conjectures from the stuff he's noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But in theory, that Christian is a demigod in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a divine nature to his, being. He might not end up having a celestial type on a character sheet, but he's still got.
Yeah, I mean, he would still kind of technically fall under a half Seraphim, half or something to
I
that
think
effect. But still, he's half
Asimar
human.
kind of comes to mind. You know, they've been
Well,
divine
yeah.
touched.
Well, like I said, Asimar are actually Seraphims in my campaign. So anybody who has like that kind of divine ability or divine race, who comes from the Celestial or whatnot, are known as Seraphims. Or
I
fallen
don't know, I can just
Seraphims,
see-
depending on the situation.
I can just see our resident psychopath Minerva figuring out, you know, Daneo's got a kid, where the kid's at.
Ooh, that is an interesting situation. I haven't
Like Borden's thinking
No,
long
that's
term,
fine,
you
that's
know,
fine.
cosmic scale bullshit here.
Is
Because
everybody?
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. Is everybody back though? Say,
Scaligi is still muted.
Yeah,
Who's here?
Scaletti or?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Oscar's
Alright,
here.
I'm
Leo's
back.
here. Scaletti's here. All right, everybody's back. But
Damn,
yeah.
my theory crafting has to come to an end then.
Oh,
It's Scaliti.
Well, I expected as much. You stabbed that
by the
Kasia
way,
and the God of Darkness.
yeah, I'll tell you this. Like, if you want to have more theory crafting, whenever I start doing my variety streams, come on in, drop by. We'll have those conversations. And if you want to be a commentator for my variety streams, let me know so I can give you the label so you can see the variety stream room. But, you know, it's just come in, chill, relax, talk about the campaign if you want. You might actually weasel some information out of me. I don't know. Depends upon how many beers I had.
Well, see, that's the other thing. If you weasel information out of Star, that's player knowledge, not character knowledge.
Yes.
Borden didn't go up and hand Star one too many beers and get
Hey,
the story
Star,
of life
here,
and touch the
have
face
a-
of God.
Have a couple beers here, man. I need to know something.
I don't drink, but here, you have a few because I need
Yeah.
information.
Nah, I'm not that gullible, but I do love sharing. I do love sharing the information in the story because, you know, it's a book I wrote. And I like to know what's going to happen because you guys are helping me out. So with this, let's see here. We are done camping. We are loading up. And the carriage is getting ready to pull everybody up this giant mountain path. The path itself is about at least at points it's like 10 feet wide, big enough for the carriages to go up.
Quick question mechanically.
Oh yeah.
The Buckler of Kasia, does that recharge at the
At
start of
dawn.
the long rest, into the long rest, or okay, dawn?
At dawn, yeah. So technically
that
you
fight
used
took-
it before and then yeah, it's back.
Okay.
So
I just want to make sure I didn't.
no,
you
you're
know.
fine. Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Well, I didn't
And-
want to go to use it, and I should have known it was dead or not. So yeah, no, we're good.
And Lindsay's violin, like if anybody wanted to pay attention to that notion, if you don't mind me going back to it, there was Mirthvale's emblem shining, and then there was Kazia's emblem shining on it as well. So she used a couple of skills, and then you can definitely see the symbols of the gods as she uses them. And then, you know, after a while they fade away, like as dawn comes around. They're definitely gone by then, and they're recharged into her violin. So there is that. See if make it an insight check from everybody as you're kind of scanning everybody getting back into the carriages, because this is probably something that we can pick up again. All right. Yeah.
Not 20, but that's a 25.
Not bad either way for everybody. Like, you guys been traveling for a while, and the bond of trust should definitely be improving with everybody as you've been traveling. And you kind of look over to Lindsay, and even though she managed to get a full rest, she looks like she's, you know, she's not as kept as she usually is. She seems like detangled, kind of stressed out, maybe like a little tired because something's been keeping her awake in her dreams or something to that effect. Noticing also, she's not the only one who seems to be looking this way. If you were to capture a glimpse of the raven-haired girl known as Rachel, as she kind of slumps back into the carriage, she seems to have bags under her eyes as she's been waking up randomly at night. And then she tries her best not to bother anybody with it. But that's your piece of information. Lindsay's actually sitting in the carriage with you guys. Leo's on the outskirts, just riding along with you. Are you staying within earshot of your friends? Like, if they roll down a window, they can actually talk to you, or are you just kind of moseying up to somewhere else, Leo?
Yeah, I could be right next to the carriage.
I'm not sure about having a window open. I mean, we'll crack it, but it's cold outside, dude.
Yeah, and he's bundled up in leathers, and he's a half orc. I guess he don't care. Excuse me. So, with that, like this mountain path, I'm thinking whether it should be wider. Actually, what is the average width of a carriage anyway? About.
I mean, if it's a trade route, the path will probably be, 20-ish feet wide.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, at certain points of this path, it's like big enough for only one cart to go through, but that does not last long. So there's like a one-way crossing. So like if somebody catches you going across this part of the path, they kind of have to wait on their end so that you can get through, and then they'll go in after you. It's kind of confusing at times, but since not too many people take the path, it's not something that happens all the time. But you guys managed to make your way up, and with that, you guys kind of had a pretty quiet time getting up this mountain. It takes a better half of 4 to 5 hours to get to the top of where it starts to snow. At this point, it is getting bone chilling for anybody who is outside the cart. Temperatures dropped quite a bit, and the music needs to be playing because I'm feeling unease with the silence. Excuse me. Definitely need something to drink, though. My poor voice. So, making your way up this mountain pass, beautiful scenery. You look back down, you're like looking at this valley. You can almost make out where Heritage is, further south of where you are. But going up this mountain, the snow starts to kick in even harder. It feels like a blizzard, but however, it's not really snowing. It's just really bitterly cold as the wind's blowing up against you. Your furs and everything is keeping you warm, but you definitely feel the chill in the air. You get to the top of this mountain range, and there's this cavernous pass that kind of goes between the mountain. I mean, the mountains keep cliffing upwards, so it looks like they kind of had this opening space between two mountains where they met at this part, and then they just kind of carved a road to keep going through. So it's not a cavern or a tunnel, but it's just open space between two mountains. There's like a wooden sign.
A valley.
Yeah. Well, it's the road valley, so to speak. And there's like a wooden sign that says, "Beware of falling rock," as you get ready to approach. However, the snow between this and the road that you have to go into is getting really deep. As far as like Leo being on his horse, who is technically 5 inches off the ground, if your horse was laying flat, or if you were looking at the carriage horses, it's coming up to their underbelly. So it's definitely getting harder for them to shuffle through. The carriages come to a halt, and they kind of say, alright, this is the part where we have to work. We're going to have to take shovels and kind of shovel this stuff out far enough for the track, so we can get the horses through and track going. Everybody gets a shovel, and
I will start a ritual cast of a unseen servant to help out.
Okay. I had a flashback of Rask. I'm sorry.
Apollo,
Hello.
can you heat up the metal as I point to the shovel at the bottom of it? Of all of us to
What
make
reason?
to melt the snow.
It might make the athletics check have advantage, if that's something you wish to employ, because it would make a little sense. But then again, he only has so many casts of that spell, which I think that spell is what level? What is it?
2nd level.
Yeah, it's a little bit higher than normal. You don't have a
If
bunch
you
of those.
cast a fireball, might be able to melt some snow.
Yeah, and a 20-foot. No.
Yeah, but just keep in
And
mind,
make
there's
lots
more.
of noise.
Do you want to start an avalanche with a fireball in a valley?
Yeah.
Here,
I
Yeah,
said it was
as
an
you-
option.
As you guys are
I
having
can't
that
do it.
conversation, Frederick passing you the shovel was like, yeah, you might not want to do that, otherwise we wouldn't be doing this, you know what I mean? But, hey guys, let's put our backs into it. I'm sure we can push through this snow, alright?
Zareth, I'm sure my I can have a little mage hand help you clear snow, but I don't know about heat and metal.
Alright, so just to kind of not trying to move it along too fast, but at the same time make it a challenge, there's going to be at least 3 different checks, alright? A failure on the check is going to give you added exhaustion. And if it's a natural 1, you're going to suffer 2 points of exhaustion along with like other detrimental effects. So that's going to be part of the mechanics here. But for the most part, all the strength checks will be kind of put into like a pool average. And then if everything's looking like on the up and up, you guys manage to push the snow through, it's perfectly fine. Or if it's drastically low, then it's definitely going to be something that might prevent the, from the carriages to keep going. This will be athletics, so if there's anything you want to do before you start rolling, or explain to me some magical way you want to do this to kind of give yourself an advantage, go ahead and make your arguments now. Otherwise, we'll get right into the rolling.
So I can make something warmer with prestidigitation. How warm can I make it?
Not very warm. You might be able to melt surface snow, but at that point the spell fizzles out.
I'm talking about not heat metal, but
I know.
Warming of the shovel.
Yeah. Well, it would be like a temporary
fine.
warm. I would say you can keep it at like 60 degrees for like 1 cast, but then it's going to get really cold just from touching the snow. It probably won't even give you enough advantage to do anything with.
Can you cast flame bolts just in the snow?
I can.
There will be danger.
How loud
if
is
you,
flame bolt?
Well, I'm just saying, if you start using magic to cast spells and try to melt the snow that way, there will be danger rolls made to see if something else happens. I mean, you might get away with
I'm
it.
gonna stick to the unseen servant. And yeah.
Alright. Is there anybody else that wants to make a case?
Leo will ask all the people that are not helping remove the snow to keep an eye out in the mountains for stone and frost giants.
Alright, sounds fair enough to ask. Azalea is not going to be helping, and the children in the back with her are not going to be helping. Red's out there helping. Christian wants to help, but Azalea's kind of like trying to keep a leash on him. It's like, no, stay back here with these 3, alright? Christian, get back. Don't make me. And she gives him that mother look, and he's like, okay. But, yeah.
Okay.
You guys kind of get your shovels out. You're in front of the horses, and basically you all are just kind of pushing together to make space. Like, you technically don't have to clear the entire road, but you do have to kind of clear the space for the horses and the carriages to kind of breeze through. So let's go ahead and do first round of athletics for everybody. Go ahead and roll that for me, please.
Oh, Leo.
You were like the one they were relying on. Alright, so yeah, you guys kind of get into this, and looks like we're on a low end on this one.
I believe technically we're average-ish.
Yeah, but it's not enough to make it a quick travel, so it's not like detrimental, but at the same time it's not helping time and everything. You Oscar, is that a
That's a 3
That's
a
Oscar.
okay, I was confused. Let's see, and
There's
that's
always GM inspiration.
Leo though has a problem, I believe. That's a natural 1 on Leo. If you have GM inspiration, you're free to use it. Leo, did you have that by chance?
I've never gotten inspiration.
Need to work as a party, my friend. Alright, so I need you to mark down that you are currently exhausted 1 level. Everybody else kind of bears together, tried to clear this path. Oscar, or I'm sorry, Leo, you just, I don't know what it is, or you don't know what it is. It's like staying out in that cold air with the horse. Maybe it affected you before you were fully ready to get into this activity. and you just kind of feel already tired and exhausted. You move half your movement speed, I believe, or what else? Disadvantage on attack rolls.
It's only disadvantage on ability checks.
Is that what it is? Yeah, I think
First level, yeah.
So, yeah, wow, wasn't expecting a natural one off the bat. You guys spend a good hour trying to clear this pathway, and you're moving along at a decent pace. This is a long, winding turn that's going through the middle of these mountains. Just keep that in mind. As you get to like a point partway into between these mountains, you can go ahead and make your second athletics check. And I'm just gonna... Oh.
Wait, Leo doesn't get stuck at disadvantage with that, does he?
Well,
Yeah, I do. Which I'd made it with disadvantage, but it's still good.
Sareth, my friend. Is that a natural one?
Yes.
I saved it. I have a nat 20.
Good for you. That's not going to help him
Damn it.
at all. Alright, so you take a level exhaustion. Apparently this is just affecting you really bad. You keep clunking into ice and you just can't seem to shovel it away fast enough, and it's just making you work harder. And then everybody else around you just manages to free up the snow around you, and you just like kind of get their scraps, but you're just trying harder than everybody because you keep bumping into something harder, and it's just wearing you out, making you thin, and you just feel this exhaustion overwhelming you. Noticing a couple of you guys kind of getting exhausted. No, we're going to keep going. With your natural 20, you managed to plow through, and with average checks from everybody else? No, Oscar was still kind of weak, but his unseen servant's kind of making up for him. With that, you managed to press a little bit further along. You're getting some miles out of this as you keep going. The storm is starting to kick in. It's starting to snow, and the snow is starting to come down pretty hard. Your path that you cleared behind you is slowly fading away as you continue to clear more of the path in front of you. Let's go ahead and do another athletics check as I put a minus sign or something so I could tell. Go ahead. Gordon.
I love these average rolls.
Okay.
It's still overall above
Yeah,
average.
it's pretty
combined.
much overall over. Yeah. Come on, guys. What's happening here? Somehow, and actually, Zareth has to roll at this. Well. Zareth,
I had a double 17.
Yeah, I see that. I'm like, alright. So, yeah. Finally. It's like you get to the other edge of this passageway, and you can see the valley or the down path leading towards the other side of the mountain range. It takes you guys, you guys probably started this around noon. It is now about 7 p.m. by the time you guys get through the other end of this mountainous pass. Nighttime is starting to fall on you, but everybody's like in agreement to let's try to get down this mountain as far as we can to where we're not in deep snow, and then we'll just try to set up a side camp somewhere if that's alright with everybody. We might have to just,
Sure.
take refuge against the mountain somewhere. But yeah, you guys, you're still exhausted until a long rest hits you. The two that rolled my natural ones, which I really threw that out there, and I didn't think anybody was going to do that. But fair enough. The wind is blowing in an easterly direction. You guys are traveling north on this side, so the wind's kind of cut down as you start to travel down. What were you saying?
Where can I find that exhaustion marker on my character sheet?
It's not a mark or anything. It would probably be just make your token say exhaustion, but it's just like a status effect. Is it?
Yeah, there's an exhaustion thing.
I did not know that. That's something
It's
new.
under ammo. It's show exhaustion tracking.
I see. Well, you see, I don't get to play, so I don't know. I do know to give you the status effect, though, so yeah, take that. Alright, so, yeah, you guys start getting back in the carriage. You guys put up all the shovels, and the caravan starts to descend for the next couple of hours, trying to make most of the way down the mountain path. They get to this curve where it kind of offers you guys enough space to kind of like make a makeshift camp, but it can't be very big. You probably got about 40 feet squared to deal with. So they kind of push the carriages up against the walls as best they can and try to leave like an opening there for you guys to kind of settle into, or you can use the carriage inside as best you can as well. But yeah, you're pretty much up against this cliff.
How many people are we traveling with again in total?
Let's see. Frederick and 2 others with him. There's probably another carriage that I haven't even mentioned that's probably got about 3 people with it. 3 people with Azalea, and then 3 more people inside that carriage. And then the 5 of you, plus a fox.
Is it safe to say that there's less than or equal to 16 people?
Yes.
I'm going to start casting Tiny Hut.
Alright. So you start to cast Tiny Hut. You see, how big is that? Is it what within? Is it 20 feet or is it 10-foot radius? Which means about 20 feet square almost.
20 feet circle.
Yeah. But you can fit how many? About 16 people
8.
into. Okay, yeah. Leave your character in there so I can see how many of the icons can fit in there. Like put right on top of
Make
the
it
fox.
blue.
Here, go where the fox is. Or was. So, okay, yeah, that thing's actually bigger than it looks. So, yeah, you can definitely fit people inside this dome. You guys pretty much take up most of the, the casual way, but you don't expect anybody to be traveling up for the...
Shit, that was still on his fireball measurement, my bad.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a lot smaller.
You can still set people in a plus shape
Yeah.
with no problem and have the
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that'll work. The kids don't take up too much space, and Christian's, he's a small child.
After casting, is this only 8 include 8 plus me can fit in one? I will pull what I did the other day and go to the edge of the tiny hut and start casting it again.
So you make a figure 8 tiny hut? Just to make sure everybody has a comfortable space. That's fair. Cool. So you make your figure 8 tiny hut as you kind of have to sit in between the both of them. And then, the party kind of divides out to where everybody can get some decent space. You pretty much got this entire curved pathway occupied by either your tiny hut or the carriages that are up against the cavern walls or the mountainous walls as it leads down. So with this here, we're going to go ahead and do watches once more. Who wants to
I'll
take
take
first?
the first watch.
Alright,
I'll
anybody?
do second.
Alright, so who's all on first? Just Sarah? Okay. And then who's all on...
Take watch with Zerth.
You'll take watch with Sarah, alright. So second watch is going to go to Apollo and who else? Anybody?
Leo will take the last watch.
So you'll either be on third or fourth, depending upon how we want to do this. Anybody else want to take a watch?
Then I'll put myself on third again. So if Leo wants to take fourth, we can
Alright, so...
cover it all.
Alright, my people on first watch is Oscar, Sarah. Is there any NPCs that you are interested in having a conversation with?
Not tonight. Seraph is tired.
You are exhausted, my friend. So here's the question. Who's going to make the perception check?
I will.
Oscar is.
I would give you advantage, but he's exhausted, so no advantage. Straight roll. Unless, hold on, I'll take that back. I'll go ahead and give you advantage because Frederick will join you.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. I forgot about the other people. No need to forget them. Alright, with that, you rolled natural 20. You hear whispering. And it's coming from the bedroll where Rachel is. Let me double check my notes real quick. Not that one. Let's see here. You hear words echoing in her sleep, and she's like, I'm not trying to do that. No, it's your domain. No. No, I would never do that. And then she screams awake, and she's sitting straight up. And she's panting. Kind of catches you off guard, because she's just crying out a little bit. But also, you kind of see Lindsay stirring in her sleep, still having like these bad dreams that are kind of invading her mind. Anything you want to do with that? If you...
Not really. No.
She looks towards you guys, and the girl apologizes, like, I'm sorry, I'll go back to sleep. And she kind of settles back in and starts to go back to sleep. Or at least look like she is. Lindsay, she's just like kicking in her sleep or just kind of moving around violently, but nothing that shows that she's awake. The rest of your watch goes pretty much without any harm. There was a couple of rocks that maybe fell, but they bounced off your dome and fell to the ground off to the side. They were like light pebbles, not like big rocks or anything. With that, your watch comes to an end. Who are you waking up?
I'll go wake up Apollo, since I'm pretty sure by the end of the watch there it's going to be right there being asleep.
Yeah, matter of fact, I would say he got halfway into the watch, and then he just kind of crashed on you. I mean, that exhaustion just pretty much overtook him, and being in this comfortable atmosphere, unless you want to fight it, you kind of fell asleep on him.
I want to fight the sensation.
Then I will have you make a Constitution check at disadvantage.
Oh, I'm so good at those.
No, you kind of conk out on him. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, you need rest, and he kind of understands it. And Frederick's like, yeah, he worked really hard. Let's just let him rest. And Frederick and Oscar, you kind of have that moment. If there's anything you want to talk about, otherwise we move on to the next shift.
Before I go to sleep, I will replace the fireball spell on the slot ring with haste.
Nice. So using your spell before you get a full rest, you store a haste spell in the Arcana ring of storing.
And it now holds haste and invisibility.
Nice. Good to let our audience know. Alright, so with those two spells saved, second watch picks up, and we are to Apollo. Is there any NPC you would like to interact with on this watch?
None in particular.
None in particular. Red is actually out here with you. And if you want, you can make... Yeah, you can go ahead and make your roll with advantage.
Excuse me.
Alright, with that there... Lindsay sits straight up, panting, her eyes wide. She's looking around, checking her atmosphere, or, checking who's around her. And then she just kind of lets a deep sigh of relief. However, you can't really hear much from her. She just kind of lays her head back down, and she's just got her eyes open for a minute as she waits for sleep to kind of return to her. The black-haired girl, she seemed to have nodded off, but then again, you kind of notice her waking up again, and she's trying not to startle anybody, but you kind of catch her up. As far as anything outside of that norm, a couple of rocks once more, like at random points in the shift, kind of fall against the dome and ripple off. Snow is not as heavy as it would be here. The storms were more upward. You guys kind of got out of the wind, so you're all good there. So light flurries, if anything. And your watch slowly comes to an end unless you want to have a conversation with any of the NPCs that kind of woke up.
Okay. As like during the watch, I'm wondering how much room is like outside the area of the huts.
Not very much. Like, if you step out of the hut, you're probably going either up the hill or down the hill. Because you're at that curve where it kind of loops out and then curves back down.
Okay. I would like to just get just outside of one of the huts, and I want to cast the Hunger of Hadar on the downward slope of this hill.
Post the spell for me, please, because I want to
It's
check
the slurpy
duration.
noises.
I just want to check duration, because I don't know.
Slurpy noises.
So for a minute, you hear.
And
outside.
during like that time, I want to just study it and see like what exactly is making up whatever these whispers and noises could be or are.
You're the one that created it. That's where it's coming from. But no, you're
I
taking.
mean, I know I created it, but I'm trying to, I guess, just study what exactly is making it, because I guess it says in the description.
Make an Arcana check. I mean, if we're gonna investigate it, let's do this. Let's play some D&D. Yeah, Apollo, your microphone's a little cracking, but I'll let you know if it's still doing that when we get to it again. With that, you kind of... It's a gateway to a dark between the stars, region infested with unknown horrors. So this is like an opening a gate to like the abyss, or the unknown, the space have you, and these unknown alien-like tentacles are just popping out of here. You get the idea that this isn't something natural. However, it's kind of interesting that someone who has arcane powers can conjure up something like this. And you spend
Is it
the rest...
something more of like? Would it be something that would still exist on the material plane, or is it something out of?
Dude, your mic sucks right now.
Yeah. Do me a quick favor. Log out of Discord and come back in, or log out of chat here. We'll see if
Is
that
that
fixes
better at all?
Well, okay. Go ahead and finish your sentence, and I'll tell you.
Okay, I was just wondering if it's still something within the material plane, or is it something that's out of that plane?
Well, being an arcane caster, you kind of get the feel that you're conjuring it out of a different plane altogether.
Okay.
Alright. Is there anything else you want to do on your shift?
And just as I'm kind of closing out the shift, I'll just play the Song of Rest when the class gets, and just try and keep everything more soothe and relaxing for the people who are still sleeping during my watch.
Lindsay eventually closes her eyes as she kind of listens to the soft lull of your flute, I guess, you're playing?
Yeah, flute.
And the raven-haired Rachel, she kind of... You think she's kind of getting to sleep. You're hoping. I mean, poor girl looks like she's been through hell. Like she's not getting enough rest. But other than that, everybody else seems snug, and nothing else seems to be, detrimental on this shift. So, with the tiny hut, you guys really don't have any hazards to worry about, to be quite honest. The only reason we're doing perception is because there are random events going on with your group as far as the awakening and going back to bed. So who do you wake up next?
And I shall wake up Borden.
Alright. Borden, was there anybody else on your shift, and was there any NPCs you wish to interact with?
Not particularly. I'm sure something will come up.
Azalea will join you on your watch. And she might be willing to have some conversation with you.
Wasn't actually at all what I was getting at there.
No, but I'm just saying. She kind of approaches, she's like, well, I'm going to watch this watch too. And as you guys kind of go into your watch, she kind of questions, so, when did you start following Kazuya?
I started in the temple as a young boy. Parents were at work. I was more or less left to my own devices and spent a lot of time there.
A lot of
It
children.
just sort of came naturally.
A lot of children do seem to spend a lot of time in these temples. I too started out with Kazuya, as I told you before. It's quite a story if you're interested.
So I'm sure the ending's going to be even more interesting. It's not often people change
I could
from
tell
being
you
a
the ending.
clergy.
Yeah,
I'd be interested to hear it.
it apparently seems that trying to bring somebody back to life was considered lowly of me, and I should not have done that. I was helping out a friend who had another friend who passed on him, and he asked me to bring her back to life. And as I was doing it, the headmaster, or the guy in Tynet Kingdom, when I used to live in Shandora, let's see, what was his name? Sylvan? Something like that. He's a grumpy old man. I try to forget him because he was nothing but rude to me every time, especially when he said I am no longer allowed there. That I was outcasted as a cleric of Kazuya for trying to bring back, well, I guess the person I was trying to help really irked him. But yeah, that's when I kind of quit being the cleric of Kazuya, but apparently I had a higher power calling me.
I have no qualms about bringing the dead back myself. Sometimes their time wasn't quite up.
That's true. No, but I think it was more or less he was punishing me because I was helping someone I shouldn't have.
I'm
But-
sure you had your reasons.
Yeah, but then again, I was also helping Lindo on her journey, and that's when I found that Illumina was the one who was blessing me from there on. I mean, for a while I was like a white mage, if you would, because nobody could determine where my powers were actually coming until I ran into Lindo. But yeah, that's pretty much how my ending happened with Kazuya. Though I still respect her, don't get me wrong. And I know it was not her fault that I had to fall from her grace. It was that bitter old man in Shandor. But I'm sure he'll get his. She just kind of laughs and chuckles about it.
So I'm not so sure about the old man, that only Kazuya would have had the power to expel you.
That is true. But I think there was a false pretense who was actually blessing me. For, Illumina does not need worship. Whereas Kazuya, she has tons of worshippers, and it's just one of those things where it might have been overlooked. But I digress. Let's go ahead and do your perception roll with advantage, as you two are having that conversation. Natural 20. Lindsay wakes up again. She's standing square up, 90-degree angle. She's caught Azalea's attention. Is she okay? And Lindsay kind of looks around.
I'm
here
gonna
and
try something.
Alright.
So I want to output the spell card for it.
Alright. Calm emotions. Alright, so you attempt to suppress strong emotion in a group of people. Okay, spear must make a saving throw.
They can choose to fail if they wish.
Choose one of the following two effects. You can suppress any effect causing a target to be charmed or frightened. Okay. Alternatively, you can different about the creature of your choice in the hostile towards you. Okay, so you can basically get somebody to stop being hostile towards you, or make them lose the effect of
See,
charm and frighten.
I believe she'd be frightened right now.
Yeah, I could say that. That's probably a fair assumption. I will say against your charisma, was it? Or she needs me.
They
I'm gonna make
they
her.
can choose to fail,
She can choose to
or
fail,
they can
but
save.
I'm gonna say.
Charisma E15 is the save.
I'm gonna say, for the sake of it actually working, I'm gonna make her make the save.
I mean, it's a little bit of an unorthodox. She's got a +7. Holy crap! She actually still managed to fail with a +7
by 1, right? What's your DC?
By 1. It's my save
Yeah.
DC is 15.
So what she's gonna do to not make you feel bad, she's gonna mime that might have helped, or something to that effect. Like, she's kind of doing the thank you motion as she kind of notices you doing that, and she will use deception to try to make you realize that it didn't help, or keep you from thinking it didn't help. And with that, she's convincing enough. You think you did a good deed, and she tries to nestles back into her seat.
I kind of want to
Or
insight check
go ahead
against
and
that, because
insight.
if
I
I'm not
should
helping,
Yeah, definitely insight that, please.
come on.
By 1. Wow, back and forth here. Yeah, so she mimics that she's fine, or mimes that she's fine, and she thanks you, and she tries to go back to bed. And as your shift continues on a little further, you hear the rumblings of that girl, Rachel. Once more, as you kind of hear her say things like, taking the throne. No. Taking my seat. No. In my domain. No. And just constant no's as she's kind of muttering what she's hearing. Are those girls going to be alright?
Warden's got a soft spot for kids. I'm gonna go, lightly awaken her and try to figure out what's going on here, because this is bothersome to me.
Yeah, you startle her awake, and there's this light arc of blue going across her eyes as you kind of look at her, and then it fades as fast as you see it, and she kind of stirs. It's like, sorry, did I wake? Oh, you're on watch. I apologize if I was being loud.
Don't apologize. I'm more worried about you. What's going on?
Been having strange dreams. The closer and closer we get to the sea, I keep having these strange dreams. I can't remember what it's about, but something about the ocean.
You're not the only one with these strange dreams and problems with the night. Maybe tomorrow you talk to Lindsay, see if you two can figure something out.
I'm mentally thinking, how's that conversation going to go? But
they can use a damn notepad, parchment, and come on.
Yes, but I just love the fact that could have been. Never mind. All right, so yeah, you guys. She's like, yeah, maybe if I have somebody to relate to, it might make me feel better or help me remember what the dream's about. All I know is it's been keeping me awake for a couple of days. As I get maybe an hour or two sleep, and then all of a sudden I wake up to this voice. I don't remember what it's talking about. I don't even know what's happening in the dream. I forget it as soon as my eyes open. I'll try.
So then I recommended Lindsay just out of character here, because I'm a almost 70-year-old dwarf. I don't think I'm exactly going to be the most sympathetic looking figure for these adolescents to be pouring their hearts out to. It might be a little weird for them.
So with that, she's like, look, I'll try to settle back down and be quiet. I didn't mean to alert anybody. Thank you for keeping watch.
No worries.
And she'll nestle back in unless there's anything else you want to do.
And that was actually the interaction I was waiting on between Lindsay and her.
Yeah, you guys have to explore that path if you want to find out more of what's going on. And you definitely know they're both having some weird dreams. Something's keeping them from getting to full sleep, or at least fully rested. They might be a little exhausted, but it's still enough to get a full rest from them. It's not that bad yet. Alright, so anything else for your shift while you and Azalea are like trying to take care of these girls? And Azalea's been over you the whole time, just kind of leaning on his staff and just watching you talk to her and just trying to offer, yeah, he's right, kind of terms, or, you know, just kind of going by your lead, offering assurance and stuff like that.
Assuming the girls end up at least, you know, deceiving this poor old dwarf into believing they've been sleeping somewhat peacefully after the interaction.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
Lindsay
It'll
did,
be Leo's turn.
Yep, so you wake up Leo.
Now, Lindsay made me feel like I helped her out,
Oh,
which
absolutely,
apparently
yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
But if, you know, she's not sleeping well, I'm going to be like, alright,
Yeah.
cut the shit.
Yeah, it was pretty much near the end of the shift when she finally settles back in, so you're not going to get any kind of reaction from her as far as that goes. So you go to wake up Leo, and Leo's going to be on the last watch with... Is there any NPC you would like to interact with? Like, need to have a conversation with or would like to talk to other than the ones that have already been on watch?
No, not really.
Alright. So your watch comes around. Frederick is actually going to be on the last tail end of this watch, and he's just kind of watching out with you. Let's go ahead and roll
Given
your...
him stuttered.
Could have, but... Go ahead and roll your perception with the advantage.
Disadvantage because I'm
Oh,
exhausted. So is
Yeah.
it just a straight roll?
yeah, straight roll. Go for it. Alright, so with that there... It's part way into your shift. You hear... clatter, clatter, clatter. You're hearing like rock on rock as a few more like decent size actually falls from the cliff and just kind of bangs against the dome and then rolls off and then falls off to the floor. You hear the muttering of the black-haired girl. She's constantly saying things like, do you dare take my seat? And just random no, sharp no's being muttered from her, but she tries not to stir from her sleep, or she seems to be trying to stay asleep. And with that, Lindsay kind of opens her eyes somewhat, and she just continues to lay there as if she can't get any sleep.
Does she notice that I notice her?
She can if you want her to. I mean, she's just kind of looking around and...
Yeah, I'll motion for her to come sit next to me and help with the watch, since she can't sleep anyway.
Yeah, she'll shake herself free from the bedroll and kind of join you there and just kind of take a seat next to you wherever you are and just kind of lean up against the wall and just mutter a soft sigh. It's the best sound she can make.
Can't sleep, is it the voices again?
She nods her head.
Minerva, right?
She shakes her head yes again.
Is it the same? What is the voices saying? I'll pull out like a notepad.
As you guys get pen and paper out of the packs and everything so she can reply back to you, she kind of scribbles that I'm aware that it's Minerva, however, I don't know what exactly is going on in my dream. Either I'm suffering something and then something so severe happens that it just stirs me awake and then the memories just kind of fade right as soon as I open up my eyes, so I can't remember exactly, but I just know it's related to that demoness or whoever she is.
Do you think you're cursed? Like, would some magic help you become uncursed, and you might be able to sleep?
She continues to jot down for a bit. She's like, I don't know. I mean, I just think it's just bad nightmares. It's not affected me any further than sleep. But I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I already previously cast a remove curse on her.
Yeah, I don't think I had any. This is probably like, judging from everything that's happened, it's more of a mental breakdown, since she's been having some freak out sessions with Minerva, interfering with you guys have already gone through. Like she seems like she's not, either she's susceptible to whatever Minerva's about, or she's just not on that same wavelength to where she can stand what Minerva's about, and she's just bothered by it internally.
Will this be like a form of madness to?
Kind of, sort of. Like, it's definitely a fear that's creeped into her, so she's just kind of, that house was messed up. And then the fox nearly dying a bunch of times, and it's seeming like her fault, and then that house being the next thing that almost killed the fox. Not to mention the fox almost died as soon as it ran into that fire room. I mean, it's a whole series of responsibilities that she's taken on, and she feels like she's failing, and she felt very affected by the chaos. Then either it's haunting her or something. It's just something a therapist will have to fix, probably.
Okay, a therapist. I thought maybe if we could get a greater restoration from somewhere.
You could definitely try. I wouldn't rule that out. But
So I think mechanically speaking, to cure a madness, you need a greater restoration for a indefinite madness.
yeah, so if this thing continues to haunt her further and she gets to the point where she's not getting any sleep, then definitely that might be a pursuit. But that's out of character. I mean, in character, you think that might actually help her. You don't know. And she kind of agrees, maybe. We can look into it whenever we get back to wherever we're going, right? And she'll just kind of rest her head a bit and stare at the notepad and just grow distant, unless there's anything else you want to tell her.
Not really.
And with that, your watch will come to an end. The carriage folk all start to get ready. You guys start to make your descent further down the mountain range. As early morning passes, you guys manage to have a meal, so no more rations until you guys separate from the caravan. Is there anything you guys want to do while prepping up the wagons to go downhill? Otherwise, I'll kind of expose a little bit.
Now I'll just help the guys with the wagons.
What were you saying, Oscar?
I'm going to walk over to Zareth and
Alright.
give him the ring of spell saving.
Alright, he hands you this ring.
Thanks. What's the ring for?
This will allow you to cast magic outside your means, but you can cast magic, so you should be able to use it.
Cool. What's in it?
The haste spell I gave you earlier, and it'll also allow you to turn yourself invisible.
Oh, thanks. That is really useful. Why you're giving me this ring?
Well, because next time you can cast haste on you. You can give yourself invisibility instead of me using a turn on you, and it'll be two people that can cast these spells at that point.
Okay. You have a point. Thank you, and I take the ring and I tuck it away carefully.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really uncomfortable with that ring.
Good, I like it when you're uncomfortable. So, you guys continue down the mountain unless there was any other business.
Lear will just keep an eye out for giants, as he's known from his childhood that they roam these mountains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's been a couple rumblings here and there as you're traveling down. However, no giants near the vicinity. However, you think they might be rumbling nearby. This winter is like keeping most civilized or wildlife from interfering with the carriages as you're traveling down. You make it down to the base, and then it's open road, and you're on flat land finally getting somewhere, you feel. As you feel the rush of familiarity coming over you, Leo, as you know for a full fact that Miscus is not that far off. If you were to take a left at the crossroad that's coming up, you would be able to head to your own hometown that's somewhere off in that distance. However, your interest in getting to Timor is getting closer and closer as you guys make it to Miscus. And for the sake of the session and time, I will say that you spend the rest of the day, unless there's anything you want to kind of go over with each other, you spend the rest of the day making it all the way to Miscus. By the time nightfall comes, they say around 7 o'clock, they say, look, if we push it for another 2 hours, we'll go ahead and be there, and then we can all check into the inn and take care of our business the next day.
I'm sure, let's do that.
Alright, so as Dancing Light and the caravan continue down the path, making it at mid-late night, around 10 to 11, you guys pull into town. The ocean air is strong. You can smell fish and other scents that remind you that this is a port city that you're pulling into. And we will end our session on that as we figure out what we'll do on the approach back to Timor in our next session next week. Unless there's any other loose ends, we can go ahead and end it there.
No, but I would like to take a longbow out of the bag of holding.
You were allowed to do that earlier, dude. We talked about this out of character. You could do that. Just go ahead and put that on your sheet now. But I would like to thank everybody for joining us for session 12. We are 12 sessions into the Timor Kingdom, who are currently trying to get out of Citadel. If you would like to join the raffle, if you haven't yet, especially my party players who I would like to invite to go ahead and win a free game from me, I have a free code for Titan Quest. Make sure you type !raffle in the Twitch stream. Go ahead and do that now if you haven't already. And I will go ahead and get that passed out before we close out. Alright, is everybody raffled in that wants to be in?
Not that bad of a game, guys.
Yeah, I was thinking about keeping it, but I'm going to give it away because why not?
No, you don't want it. You, for one, don't want it.
Good.
You have Diablo.
Alright, so last call on raffle. 3, 2, 1. Closing the giveaway. Now let's pick a winner. You have won. Please speak up in chat. Yarn text. So I will give you the Steam information for that. If I have another game in Wednesday's campaign, Embert, you are allowed. I will not keep you from re-entering, but you won last time. We remembered. So next time, if I have another key to give away, I'll go ahead and let you join that one, and I will give Zareth the key to this game. So thanks for coming by, guys. Appreciate the support. Anything anybody wants to mention before we head out? No?
Nope.
Alright, so Wednesday's campaign starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. Saturday, it's a real mess for me. Last session was pretty chaotic and I had to close early because of personal problems and I felt bad. However, we will try to revisit Saturday and we might revamp or purposely aim to kill everybody. So look forward to that TPK hopefully Saturday for sure. And then once we get that TPK out of the way, we'll roll some actual decent characters and see how that goes. But I will be doing variety streaming off and on during the week. I haven't got a permanent schedule yet because it kind of has to rotate a little bit. I'm thinking about running Star Ocean, The Last Hope, which is on sale on Steam, or was. I'll be doing that maybe later on tonight. So feel free to jump in if you want to theory craft about some of the games we've been playing in D&D, or just come in and chat. If you want to be part of the commentating crew, you just let me know so I can give you that label in Discord. Join Discord if you want. And with that, do you hear the calling? The Chaotic Calling? Have a good night, guys. We'll see you later. Once I find the stop button. Bye!